Do not take product if you are hypersensitive.
Oh, hey, Internet, and welcome back to the InTalksicated Podcast. I'm your host, Scott MacLean, and this is a comedy variety talk show where I shoot the shit with comedians, creators, and characters. How you doing, everybody? How's it going? How are we feeling? My episodes have been late a lot lately, so I do apologize for that. I am in the midst of trying to get my shit together with this podcast while doing a lot of other things, and it has been very difficult. So I do appreciate your guys' patience with me as I still try to continue this on a weekly basis and trying to get a good guest every week. This week, I have one of my favorite podcast guests to have on, just because I never know where this conversation will go with this person. This week on the podcast is Scott MacLean. Dun, dun, dun. He's back. This is his fourth time on the podcast. We recorded this the day before his birthday. So big happy birthday to Scott. And my gift to him was allowing him to come over and talk for a long time with me about whatever he wanted to talk about. And this was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this. I always enjoy having Scott on, and I particularly love having Scott on with Lauren sort of in the background, chiming in every now and then. And that happened on this episode. So one big thing I want to mention is that Scott now has his own podcast. Finally, he did it. It is called In the Wrong with Scott MacLean, and I do encourage you to check that out. Subscribe wherever you find podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify, wherever you find them. Give his podcast a listen. He has had some very interesting guests on lately, one of which was a past Intoxicated guest, Tyler Morrison. I really enjoyed that conversation, so please check that out. I just love when my friends start podcasts, and I do think you guys will enjoy it if you have been enjoying Intoxicated. This was, of course, a very long episode. I've been really trying not to make them so long lately, you guys, and it's just really hard. I feel like with long form conversation, once you start talking, you get on a roll, and before you know it, you're 3 hours in. And I do find these long form conversations much harder to edit because everything kind of flows into each other. And so it's very important to me to make this podcast uncensored and mostly unedited, other than washroom breaks or something someone says that they specifically want taken out. I have sort of always said this is long form, uncensored, and this is what you are getting. So grab a freaking drink, grab a snack, because this is a long Scott MacLean episode. Do remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel. That is youtube.com/intoxicated. I'd love to hit 300 followers by the end of the year. That would be amazing. So if you haven't done so already, please do that. If you're digging the show, I would love for you to leave me an Apple Podcast rating or review. That always helps the show out. It helps with visibility and getting on the charts. But also, if you're listening to the podcast, give it a share on social media and tag Intoxicated. You can find Intoxicated on Instagram at Intoxicated Podcast, also on Facebook and on Twitter at @in_toxicated. Give a share on social media, but honestly, just tell your friends about the podcast. I would greatly appreciate it. I say the same thing in every intro. I hate doing the intros. It's my least favorite part, but my most favorite part is the interview itself, and I'm going to get right to that. So I hope you all enjoy this week's episode with Scott MacLean. All right. I want a Christmas lockdown. I think that would be fantastic. I think keep people away from stores for Christmas. Bring back the meaning of Christmas, which is like spending time with your close family. And like get rid of the consumerism. Get rid of it.
You're too fucking idealistic.
Me?
It's not going to happen. It's going to just be people arguing.
It's just going to be happen? I think it might.
No, a Christmas lockdown happens. It's not going to bring families together. It's just going to be people arguing on Facebook more.
That's true. And they'll just shop online. Like they'll just end up buying everything they want to buy online
from like
rather
Amazon,
than
exactly.
Yeah, no, that's so funny. But like I'm like, I went through the worst time ever on lockdown, came out of it, continued to go through the worst time ever. Now I'm in a good place.
Yeah, great place.
And I'm like, if we locked down, I was able to still work from home, which I could do with podcasting.
Yeah.
I'd be okay with this because the stand-up grind is a little bit exhausting, if I'm being honest.
Yeah? How are you finding it?
I've been finding it a bit exhausting because I do think that there's something to... Okay, here's why it's exhausting. I know that you don't have to go to every single show, but as a new comic, it feels kind of like you do to get good. Mm-hmm. Because I have found that like the more I do in a row, the better I fucking do. Yeah,
that's always how it works. The more you do, the better you get.
Exactly.
If you're like good, then you can go away and then you can come back and you'll do good. But you won't have done as well as you would have had you been doing comedy that entire time. Because you just get more comfortable. You get into that performing feeling, yeah. And also, like, even if you did the same set, say 3 nights in a row, doing it 3 nights in a row, like, it kind of like forces you to like do something different with the jokes. And I even noticed that about myself lately is I'll be up there and I'll be on a joke and I'll literally think of something while I'm up there to say. And it's the first time ever that's happened. I think the only reason I have that now is because I've been literally going every week. And I haven't missed a week yet. And then it usually ends up being some of the better parts of the joke.
Exactly.
It's coming organically.
Naturally.
Because you're not sitting there going, what would be funny to say right now? You're going, that's funny. I'll say it.
And
then you go, because a lot of bits that I've done have started off written down, and by the time they were ready, there's like 20% of that joke came from what I originally wrote, and the remainder came from just organically saying it, and then all of a sudden chuck a tag on. An audience member says this, and then you go and respond with that, and you go, okay, wait, I could work that into the set.
Right?
And then you just, I don't know.
It's magical. I gotta say, but the reason it's exhausting, because I have a blast doing it. I'm nervous as fuck for hours leading up to it, and then I do it, and it's this rush, and then I'm amped all night, and I don't go to sleep until 3 a.m. So that's why it's exhausting. It's not conducive to like a 9 to 5 schedule.
That is not just stand-up. That's performing in general. That is Lauren and I every fucking Saturday night.
Yes. Oh, I can only imagine.
Lauren's going around hating. I don't want to do it. I hate you. I want to break up with you. And she's just wanting to murder me.
And then you do it, and it's so fun.
I go, shut the fuck up. We're going to have a good time once we start. You know we will. Yeah, I know we will. I just hate it. I hate you. I hate everything about life. I'm just like, shut up and let's do it. We're doing it. And then we do it. And as soon as it starts, she's happy. And then she gets happier as the fucking night goes on. I'm sitting there singing along thinking, I told you so. And then at the end of the night, we sign off and we're like, fuck, man, that was great. We just like gave 300 people a fucking
And then
great
you're amped
time.
and you can't, and you don't go to sleep right. No one in the world performs any type of art and goes to sleep right away. It's just not a thing that happens.
No, if you do, you're a fucking weirdo. You're that's like one of those.
If you do, you're someone who doesn't truly enjoy what they're doing.
Yeah, like it's like you're doing it it's like being trapped in a job that you hate. You're just doing it because that's what you do and you don't know what else to do. But like, I don't know how every performance I've ever done afterwards, I felt like, other than a bomb, a stand-up bomb is probably the only time that you'll ever feel like killing yourself after a performance. Like in theater, doing like, we did this episode. We did this performance of The Music Man, which is essentially the monorail episode of The Simpsons. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. I was the character that was the monorail guy. And in the middle of the performance, I sweat so much that I short-circuited the mic. And then I just had to belt out, and I was sick. I had like an ear infection like 3 days before opening night, so I couldn't hear. I had no tonal understanding or whatever. So I was like really struggling to stay on key, all this shit. And there was a whole bunch of fuck ups. The mic broke in the first act. My mic fell out of my pants in the middle of one of my numbers, and somebody had to come up and tuck it back in, like mid choreography. Yeah. And there was like certain screw ups along the way. Still fucking felt awesome at the end. But I guess musicals are different. It's not the same as stand up. Stand up going up there and fucking crushing is the best because it's like it's you.
And it's the most insane thing you could do.
Yeah.
One of the most. There's not a lot of people who do stand like someone put it into perspective. They're like, think of all the people in a city and then count the number of people doing stand-up comedy. It's very small percentage of people who do it. Well, we should open this fucking episode because you and I will just talk and never fucking open it.
Some good things.
I know, right?
She can go back and clip all this shit.
We've been like, I always cold open anyway. I am like, this is what it is, people. You're here. Welcome. Oh my gosh, everybody, welcome back to the Intoxicated Podcast. Oh boy, look who's back.
Hey-o.
Third time return. Third time?
I made beer one time.
Yep, and then you were here with Lauren, and then we did the lockdown episode. This is your fourth time. Fourth time returning guest. Hopefully this won't get me canceled. But whatever, because...
Like I said before the episode, no one's going to watch. No one's going to listen.
I don't know. I think they will.
They'll listen for you. They'll listen to support you and hate me.
I don't think that's the case at all.
I know who I am.
It's Scott MacLean. Scott MacLean is here, everyone.
Hey.
Welcome, buddy friend. How are you?
I'm good. I'm not that good, actually. I'm crippled. I had knee surgery on the 27th of October, so that's about 3 weeks now. I've lost all my muscle in my thigh. I've gained fucking 12 pounds probably. I'm a big fat slob. If you're watching, you can see it. Everything went to hell.
I'm with you on the weight gain stuff. Not the same amount, but
not even close. It's just like now I'm not even pushing out, and then I'm doing my push out belly. I used to push out my stomach to be like, look how I can extend my stomach, and now it's just how I naturally am. My buddy took a picture. We were stoned playing Mario Kart the other day.
Was that the one you posted to promote the episode?
He showed me that picture, and I was like, oh no, like what the fuck happened? I've literally gone off the rails completely. And like, yeah, I have excuses.
Someone loves you, it doesn't matter.
I know. She's the worst.
Like truly, like it truly,
she's the worst.
It truly doesn't matter. Someone loves you.
This is my tomorrow's my 33rd birthday. I'm not going to make it to 30.
33?
Yeah.
Welcome to the club.
I'm not making it to 35 because of Lauren. Because she's...
Stop it. Don't say shit like that. You're going to put that out into the fucking world. Don't...
She makes me bacon sandwiches. She brought me double cheeseburgers today because I don't have self-control.
I bet you, though...
And she's like, you're beautiful.
I bet you, though, she also makes some really good healthy food to even it out.
Yeah?
Every other night.
Every other night? Yeah, okay.
Of course she does.
Yeah, the black bean burritos are pretty tight.
Your children are vegetarians, so yes, I cook healthy meals for you all the time.
That's true. You do. You do a good job. But you also do not... I try to have restraint. She won't call me fat.
Because you're not.
No, I am.
I didn't even...
My fucking healthy weight is 180 to 185 pounds. I was that when I met you. And then I'm probably 215 now.
Well, no one likes to hear that fucking
30
word.
pounds more, no muscle, zero muscle.
Could we just call you curvy? Like they do.
No, call me fat, so I'll do something about it. That's how it always works for me.
But you can't do anything about it. You're
I can't right now. I could eat better. I could stop eating such a fucking I eat bacon every day.
That's good though. People on keto eat bacon every day.
Yeah, they don't eat it with cheese, mayo, and bread. Like
that,
or bacon and eggs,
right.
And then fucking pizza pops, and then ice caps, double cheeseburgers, chicken wings, fucking. We got icy squares. You know the Christmas icy squares. Oh
my god, icy squares are so fucking good. Do you keep them in the fridge though? You gotta.
Lauren doesn't keep them in the fridge,
but they're still good regardless. But you should try.
But I think did you put them in there since she told you to put them in there?
No, because they just didn't last that long.
Yeah. She had planned not to open them until Christmas, and we are done.
Oh, as soon as you buy...
there's one left in the pot. Or
well, number one, I gotta say, if you are unable to move your body a lot, not only will you gain weight, but you will just feel like a piece of shit because you're not moving.
I feel
because I've found that about myself. Just in that I'm at this fucking computer so much, like sitting down and not moving. It's really becoming a problem. Like I gotta make a point to.
And I'm an outdoors guy. I'm an outdoorsman. I go out. Right before surgery, was it the weekend before surgery? We went on a 3-day canoe trip through the middle of buttfuck nowhere in Keji. And I was saying to Lauren, this is where my heart explodes. This is where I'm at happiest. This is where I'm away from all the bullshit, where if there's a fucking bear, it's like, deal with it. You gotta fucking deal with it. Your identity and all that horse shit don't fucking matter when it's like, you're cold. You better light a fire. You better wear the shit right. You better make sure you don't get your fucking socks wet, or you're gonna lose your toes.
You're down to the basics.
You're down to fucking what matters.
Yeah, I've never done that.
You're out there with what matters, which is your close friends. You gotta fucking always constantly remind yourself, wait, take a picture, because you never feel the need to when you're with your closest friends in this beautiful environment. But then you just take snap a picture of a sunset, whatever, and off you go. But when I'm out there, I'm like,
gotta say,
it's beautiful. It's just my favorite place to be. I'm a giant hippie. That's what people don't understand. I'm a fucking hippie to the nth degree.
Always very jealous of when I see your camping pictures. I won't lie. And okay, I have to clarify that, because I actually I like the outdoors, but I like to come home to my bed as my thing. Mm-hmm. I'm not a camper, but I do love a good hike. I love a good beach day. I love stuff like that. But when I see people doing that, I'm like, I wish I was that type of person. And
you can be.
The thing is, I wanted to try this summer. I wanted to try to do the camping thing, or go out of my comfort zone. It just didn't happen. Just
come
all
out
the other
with
things.
us.
Not in the winter.
In the winter.
No, fuck that.
You don't understand. It's
fuck
even one,
that.
no bugs. There's no bugs. That's awesome. It's one of the best parts of camping in the winter is there's no bugs. 2, you dress warm enough properly. You layer yourself. You got a fucking merino wool base layer. You got the proper hiking pants, thermal insulated hiking pants. You get a fleece sweater. You get a hard shell on top of that, and you're fucking fine. You're good.
Here's what I would do.
You're not cold. Body heat. It's just your body heat. If you layer properly, you're not bunched up like a marshmallow. You're just a fucking person in the middle. I went out with my fucking kids, 7 years old.
I know.
What was it, minus 25 that night?
Oh, fuck.
And
you guys are
my
crazy.
7-year-old fucking kids were camping. We were collecting firewood. You make a fire. You stay warm. You keep moving. And then you go to sleep at 9. Staying up till 10 o'clock is 3 a.m. when you're camping in the woods, because you really get fucking tuned in with the world. And that's what you're supposed to do.
And when you're actually supposed to be going to sleep, because... we're supposed to be going to sleep when it's dark. So
and
yeah,
you wake up with the sun.
If you're doing it in the winter, it gets dark at what time? 5-ish? Even earlier now.
Yeah.
And so,
but
that's what you're supposed to be doing.
And I agree. Look, we got a king size bed. I love my fucking bed. I love to sleep in a goddamn immaculate bed. I love that shit. But I would not appreciate my king size bed as much if I didn't sleep on a 3-inch fucking thick piece of air. And while you're out in the middle of hell, literal hell, it's like all the elements are around you and you're fucking surviving. You shouldn't be there. You're not meant or made to live there, but you're overcoming it.
Aren't we made to live there?
Not physically. Mentally we are. We're able to figure it out, but it also requires community. So that's the other thing. It's this when we're out there, and it all happens so naturally. It all unfolds that okay, I'll set up the tent while Lauren, fucking boils the water. And
you're making the woman cook even in the woods?
No, honestly, I do everything. To be quite honest, I don't know what Lauren doesn't do shit, doesn't know how, but she loves it and she's there, right, hon? What do you do when we're out there?
I set up the tent.
You set up the tent. Yeah, you help set up the tent.
I make it cozy inside.
You make it cozy inside. I just like to see Lauren out there because she's happy.
Cozy.
Lauren's just a fucking beam of light, so that she doesn't have to do anything. She gets a pass. But we do, when we went Chignecto, I came down sweating, honey, do you want me to hang your clothes? And then when you just go and find a place and you take a piece of paracord and hang your clothes and...
Yes, everything that you're saying sounds appealing. If I had a partner that was willing to go on that adventure with me and do that with me, I would be down to do it.
Well, fucking snuggle up with Courtney next time. Courtney's always alone. She's single in her 30s. And
Jesus. I love when people pair up the sad, lonely people. That's the best.
That's the difference. Courtney's not sad, though.
No, God, no.
Courtney's fucking single and...
Loving it? How long has she been single?
I don't want to say loving it because that's... No, because that sounds like she's whoring it up. I think if you're single and loving it, you're whoring it up, right?
I don't know.
You have to be, otherwise you're crying all the time.
I disagree with that.
Okay. How long have you been single?
No.
How many weeks consecutively?
No, I think when you're recently single, usually that comes with whoring it up.
Yeah. And then long-term singleness.
This is the trajectory
leads to
of
buying
singleness.
a cat.
Let me tell you
and
about
posting
it.
angry shit about how you don't need men. Becoming a fucking...
No, you go.
And then you start to believe in astrology and tarot cards.
You love it. You love it. Okay, you have fun. I would say the first 2 years are fun. First 2 to 3 years are fun. I would actually say that. The first year that I was single was one of the funnest years I've ever had in my entire life. And then it'll start to get sadder.
The thing, girls single is completely different than guys single. Because guys single, I was something of a man whore. It's my natural state as man whore. But I don't like tap dancing. I don't like going out on a date and pretending to be somebody so you like me. Like filtering, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say this because who knows how they'll take. We'll wait till third date before I tell them that I do this or that I enjoy that or my crazy theory about how fucking free will doesn't exist. I don't want to overload her and make her freaked out because he says he talks too much. And then, fuck all that.
I love that free will discussion.
Yeah, but then I dropped it all. There was a point I tried so hard to impress people on dates doing what I fucking wanted to do or what I thought they wanted me to do.
Oh, no, don't do that.
It works, but it's...
Yeah, I would agree. I would say, like, if I acted differently, I would probably have a lot more luck with guys. If I acted how I thought they wanted me to act, I think I would have more luck with guys.
Are you sure you don't?
Yeah.
You're sure you don't?
Yeah. I'm a good fucking date, and I'm very honest. In fact, like, honestly, like,
I've never been on a date with you.
But, like, I feel this is gonna sound weird, but I feel like a podcast episode is like a date in a weird way. Yeah. It's similar, and I think, like, if someone who went on a date with me then listened to one of these episodes, they wouldn't see much difference. And
that's good.
I think personally, I probably open up too much on a first date, or maybe
always. Me too.
Like I had a
Way
date,
open.
like I had a date where we like talked about like what was wrong with us. And stuff.
That's great.
See, I don't think it is though.
Why not?
I don't think it is right away. I think
it's
you should
right away.
slowly bring that in.
I don't know how long it was. I mean, I fucking open. That's my problem. That's my problem with every fucking thing that I do is that I am a true egalitarian and that I treat everybody the same. So I'll tell a fucking complete stranger I met 2 minutes ago I'll crack a joke about how I'm a single father living in his parents' basement kind of shit. I'll make those jokes. And people, you fucking get to watch their awkward responses because they're not used to people saying that shit, and they're like, sorry to hear. And you're like, what? Shut up. No, I've accepted my trauma. I'm laughing about it now. Don't make it fucking awkward.
But that's the thing. People don't. People can be intimidated by self-deprecation,
and fuck those people.
What they see as self-deprecation, which in your mind is just you going, this is the fact of my life.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about me when I do my jokes about being single, like a part of me is like, this is so cringy and like stereotypical and like people are just going to think it's so typical of me. But it's like, this has been my life. Like 9 years of like living with yourself. Like, of course, people in relationships have jokes about their partnerships. They have jokes about the everyday things you go through as a couple. It's like, of course I'm going to have fucking jokes about being single.
Yeah.
It's my fucking life.
Yeah.
This is just a fact.
Yeah. And I don't know.
I didn't choose this.
I was wide open with every successful relationship I've had. I was wide the fuck open. I mean, well, no, not quite with Lauren. I did slide into her DMs and fucking pretend it was an accident. That was funny. But when we actually went on the date, I don't fucking hold anything back because I was tired. I feel like the thing is that, and this might just be the male perspective or the male experience, is that you go on a date and the guy has to impress the girl. And I got fucking tired of that. And I was like, no,
I disagree.
You
I don't think
impress me.
I think both people have equal. I think with dating, both people feel an equal pressure to impress the other.
Yeah?
I do think that. I don't know about... I truly... There is a level of nervousness.
Sure.
Because
everyone's going to have their own anxieties and experiences when they are on a date. No kidding.
But I think that they're different. So like what you said about the pressure on men is to impress the woman. I think for the woman, it's, I mean, in my case, it's like, is he going to think I'm attractive enough? Is he going to think I was catfishing him? Like, is he going to be disappointed? Like, those are the insecurities I have going into it.
So, but here's the difference. So if you go out on a date with a guy that you're attracted to and he's boring and lame and dumb as a post, can't carry a conversation, just generally sucks, are you going to bang him?
No.
We are. We are. We're gonna do it. I don't need to like you.
Thank you for speaking the truth.
But that's the fucking difference.
I know exactly. I heard something on a TikTok. I know.
I got catfished hard.
TikTok has taken over my life. But I heard a woman say, "Oh, what was the quote?" It was like, fuck. It was along those lines. It was like, women choose who they fuck. And men fuck anyone.
Yeah,
well, essentially is what it was.
I got 50-pound catfished once.
That's a lot of pounds.
It's a lot of pounds.
I feel like I might have like 10
angles.
pound. I think I 10-pound catfished. But
10 pounds ain't shit. But I guess
I think 10 to 15 is acceptable.
But yeah, sure, whatever. You know, fucking
50,
life's
that's
tough. Whatever. You get some grace. But I'm talking about, whoa, that's not what I ordered. Sorry to sound like a complete piece of shit. but you know, it's not what I ordered, but I'm still gonna eat it, and you know, do some charity work, as what I call it. Oh my
god! Nick Burden has a great story about how he got catfished really bad on a date.
My girlfriend is sitting on the couch over here. She doesn't want to hear any of this. She hates these fucking conversations.
I find it funny.
Yeah, you know what you're dealing with. I'm a good guy.
Nick Byrne had a great story about how like he went through this whole booty call process with someone from an app, and they showed up and they were like totally bigger than what he expected, and he was like, you know what, you earned this because you tricked me.
He said that to them?
Like no,
he thought it.
No, he said it. He said
Jesus
it on the
Christ. It's like, why does everyone think I'm the asshole? I'm still charming and courteous and nice and make them feel special, right?
Funny.
Even though they're clearly not.
No, he was essentially like, you tricked me so good that you deserve to get fucked tonight.
Yeah,
and he fucked
you did
her.
a good job. Hey, you know, like, yeah. But that's the thing. We'll do it. A girl, like...
Well, because we can't... Again, we've talked about this many times, you and I.
A girl doesn't get laid because of her.
Well, there's more... Women want more personality than looks.
Sure. It's fucking clearly. Look at me and Lauren.
This is the fucking debate of the century.
Yeah. But
it's so true. And a guy doesn't care.
My friend Courtney that I mentioned earlier, there was one girl I went on a date with, and she sucked. She sucked.
Personality-wise?
She sucked the first time. I always do a lot of the talking on the first date because I don't want it to be awkward.
Same here.
So I got to keep the conversation going. If I feel like I don't want dead air on a first date. I don't want to fucking look around and be awkward. So I'm going to keep talking. So we had our first date. Second date, go to her place to watch a movie. And she made some joke about, oh, maybe I could get a word in this time. And I laughed at that. Good joke. But then I realized, but she said it in like that little like, I want to like dig at you, like it was like a real harsh criticism of me.
But she wasn't speaking up, so you were leading the conversation because you had to.
Yeah, she was. I don't know. Yeah, she was exactly. That's what it was. But I took the ribbing. I could take it. Fucking joke. But then we started watching fucking Dunkirk, the war movie about the British civilians that took their boats across the English Channel to rescue the Allied troops that were getting fucking attacked by the Germans.
Yeah.
And then she started to say, first, the thing that fucking like it made my stomach crawl. She said, who even decided to make war a thing? And I was like, what? Like, who decided a good idea to go out and shoot other people? I'm like, how? I don't even know how to fucking respond to such a stupid statement. fucking chimpanzees go to war. This shit happened before we were humans. It's all about, I tried to explain evolutionarily how we got to, it was first, hey, get away from my thing, and then you hit them, and then you eventually throw a rock at them, and then you figure out how to use a stick, and then you evolve until eventually you have a fucking gun and a tank, and you get a better advantage against the person. And then she's like, yeah, I just, why would these guys, why would you go across the English Channel to save all, you're going into a war zone. I'm like, they're sacrificing their lives to save people. What the fuck? And so I was like, man, this girl is dumb. But I'm going to do it anyway if I get the chance. And I don't think I got the chance that night, so whatever. Then went on a third one. Just the third one, I didn't even really want to. I was just like, maybe I'll get a chance to do it.
Why didn't you just stop seeing her after the first bad
dry
date?
spells, man. Dry spells. You'll do lots of crazy things in a dry spell. So I went, because that's just what I mean. You don't understand.
What's a dry spell for you? What's a dry spell for you?
I don't know. This is not that long.
You've hit a nerve with me. I've been laid once this year.
Well,
once, motherfuckers, once.
Okay, well,
and I'm slowly gonna like my attractiveness level is just gonna keep going down.
But you got toys that can take care of.
No, it's not the same. I hate when people use that argument.
I know. It's a terrible
truly
argument.
hate that argument.
No, it's not.
I reject that argument.
Nothing as good as the old fucking sausage, huh?
Well, because it's more. There's more to it than just the actual thingy.
Sausage. Yeah, the dick has very little to do with it. I imagine. I don't know.
We're drinking rum and eggnog, by the way.
Yeah. Hey, festive holiday. Cheers.
I actually haven't tasted this yet.
But yeah, so then I went over to her place on the third date, and then we started to watch a stand-up special. Ellen DeGeneres. It was a good enough special, whatever. And every time she made a joke, she'd go, that's so true. And then would interrupt the next tag by saying like, isn't that true? You do scoot on the bath mat.
Yeah,
oh my God. I do that every morning. I'm like, shut up. She's fucking talking.
Yeah.
And so then I got real annoyed. Then we started, the conversation went somewhere about essentially she was saying there's only one way to skin a cat. We got later into another conversation.
Wait, actually?
Not an actual skinning of a cat.
Okay.
I don't want to give too many details. I can't imagine she's watching, but I don't want to ruin her life. Somebody might be able to figure it out if they did know this. I don't care if she did, because she sucked. And I told her, you suck.
Did you tell her that to her face?
I said to her...
We're never as mean as we say we are when we're retelling a story, right?
No, she was so stuck in her way. Everything I said was like, oh, so you think that blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, what? No, I'm trying to explain a point. And then she said some shit. She probably fucking threw mansplaining at me when I was just trying to explain something. Literally, talking about something. And she was like, what's that? And then I said, I was saying, if you do this X amount of times, you'll get this result. Because of this. And don't mansplain. You're just condescending to, I know how to this stuff. And I was just like, I'm not doing that. Can we have a conversation without you fucking getting defensive? And I was just like, holy shit. And then I was like, you know what? I'm the fuck out of here. And she's like, what? You're leaving? And I was like, yeah. She's like, why? I was like, because you're insufferable. It's like, God. And then she was like, no, come on, hun. Just sit on the couch. Come on, just sit down. Don't be like that.
She called you hun after a couple days?
She was being condescending. You know when girls do that little oh, come on. It's just, don't worry about your little hockey game. Come on, have a seat.
Yeah.
You know, they just try to fuck. You know what you guys fucking do. And she was trying to dig at me, and it was real condescending. And I was like, nah, you know what? Fuck you. And not to mention, she didn't have a clean place. I think a woman should have a clean place. No offense. Your place.
Here we go.
No. Your place isn't particularly messy.
It's cluttered.
Really, it's cluttered, but this isn't. Your place does not stink.
No.
Her place smelled like wet dog.
Oh, gross.
And it was covered in fucking hair. It just smelled like the worst dog.
I will say,
she had a big dog.
If you have a pet and you have long hair, it is a lot of hair all over the apartment.
Saint Bernard. Okay.
Jesus
And
Christ.
I don't think she ever vacuumed her couch. So it smelled like dog and shit. And just everything bad dog smell.
I think more women are messy than what is led to believe people are like.
Sure, maybe, but they're not as messy as guys. On average, not even fucking per capita.
Are you naturally messy? If you were left to your own devices, would you be messy?
Lauren set our house up beautifully. I keep it clean. Lauren don't do shit.
Is that true?
Hein? You cook? You do some dishes?
Oh my gosh, here we go. We are gonna be in the middle of a bickering.
I mow the lawn, I vacuum, I sweep, I mop, I do all that shit. I do surfaces.
Do all the superficial stuff.
Sure.
I actually disinfect and like clean.
Oh, I can see that.
Yes.
I think you're not giving her enough credit.
No, I'm not. I'm intentionally being a dick right now.
You don't know how to clean from the cleanest to the dirtiest, so you're not dragging all shit back over clean stuff.
Yeah.
You don't think about that.
You gotta get the mic up to your face if you're gonna be yelling at me. Huh?
I was actually picking her up, but
Can you hear it? Okay.
No, I'm just razzing you for a thing. But I do most of the sweeping and the vacuuming and all that shit.
I'll give you that.
So,
listen.
but anyways, that girl, I left that girl's place.
It takes a village.
And then my friend Courtney, I called her up and I was like, I left out. I could have stayed and I could have got it in, but I didn't. I left on principle because I was like, no, I am better than this person. I'm not going to give them me. And I've given me to definitely worse looking, but not. There's not. I mean, it was the first time I ever been like, you know what? I could do this. I could hook up, and I'm walking away.
How could you? How do guys get turned on by girls they find annoying though? Like that's my. Like, how do you get
Grin and bear it?
How do you get yourself in the mindset to get fucking hard to bang? Like,
well,
that's my.
It depends on how annoying you are. Okay, I will say that wasn't the first time. There was another girl who was like hammered, and she was all over me back at a party in high school, and I was like, "No, stop!" And she was hot, and like I totally would have on any other day, but like when I'm hanging out, I want to hang out, and then when it's time to do that, we'll go do that. But don't try to like make out with me while I'm talking to somebody. Right?
Yeah,
she's just falling. She was just a messy drunk. Whatever, it happens. I'm not going to say that the person's a bad person because of it. There's all kinds of other reasons to call her a bad person.
Yeah.
but yeah, that was how I think. As long as you haven't been annoyed long enough, like it all depends on where you're at.
Do you just kind of go into the mode of like, I'm just going to look at this person as a physical being versus an emotional being?
Sure, that's what a hookup is.
You guys are fucked.
Is it emotion in every hookup that a girl does?
Emotion? I mean, for me, yes, but I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of women who I think aren't emotional with
There's
with
all
men.
kinds, trust me.
It's just, I have no idea what that's like, because that has never been me. Mm-hmm. I truly don't know.
It's definitely the least favorable or least desirable type of hookup is one where there's no emotional connection whatsoever. And I can't really say that there's been many where there has been no like fondness of the other person. Like even when I said I was catfished, those people had great personalities. So it was like catfished in a physical sense that I'm not like necessarily physically attracted to you, but I do like your personality. So that raised you up a couple points and
right.
And
so it's just
made me want to. Like I did. It's not like I did it like completely reluctantly and begrudgingly. It was. I still wanted to. It's just, I thought this was an all-inclusive trip. I got to play for my drinks. I'm still down south. I'm still having a good time. I'm not getting what I expected, kind of thing. You know, that's kind of like what a catfish
I have a
is.
joke I'm working on about that compares something to an all-inclusive resort, which is I really don't like it when guys are like, touch yourself in front of me. Like when you're like hooking up with a guy and he's like, just touch yourself. I'm just like, you don't go to an all-inclusive resort to cook your own food, fuckers.
yeah.
When you get laid once a year, sex is a fucking treat. I'm not doing shit for you. You do it for me.
Not to mention, and I won't kink shame, but like, why don't you want to be involved? Like, why aren't you the one that wants to do it?
And here's the thing, I will preface this by saying,
Different strokes, different folks, whatever.
I think if you're in a long-term relationship and you're like figuring out sexually how you guys are together and you want to learn how to please your partner more, yes, watch her do that and figure out what she likes. But like when it is a like clearly like a hookup situation, probably going to happen once like every couple months. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I've been doing this for the last 3 weeks. I don't need to do it with you here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, why the fuck would I pay to go to Mexico?
You want the tears?
To cook my own food.
Yeah. Do you want the tears too?
Jesus Christ.
That come after this?
That hits deep. Actually, I haven't been crying so much afterwards lately. You know why? You want to know why?
Hey, how often? Hold on. Because I feel the shame after masturbating, where you're just like, I've connected it to, I found the issue. So I used to cry every time I would come when I would like masturbate, and like I figured out it was porn. At what point?
Right after, like immediately after tears, sadness, deep loneliness, bad feelings. Stopped watching porn, doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah, porn's not good. I've decided that porn's not good.
I watch it only every now and then now. Like,
I tried to reduce...
It's a treat for me now. It's not a requirement.
Yeah, it's definitely... Well, I mean, there's all kinds of studies about how, like, fucking teenagers these days can't even get hard in real situations, because what happens when you are jerking off to porn, you're only getting the visual and auditory stimulation, and that is connected with your sexual arousal and your orgasm, mostly your arousal. So typically what is happening is you're getting the sense of touch, the sense of smell, and the sense of taste, as well as visual and audio and audio sensations. But you're cutting out 3 of those sensations. Yeah. So when you get into those sensations, especially with the anonymity of porn, because you're not actually directly involved and there's none of that social nuances that are occurring, is that it rewires your brain to like visual and audio. Most people are listening with the fucking sound down, probably. So it's simply reduced to visual stimulation. That is what gets you hard. And then when you're in and you touch a girl's skin or whatever, and then you smell this and you hear that or whatever, feel that her breath, whatever.
That's a whole
those things. Thing. They're not what you typically associate with the with arousal, and so you don't get hard because you don't have that third person visual perspective that has literally rewired your brain to that's what makes me hard. So it's a big problem with teenagers and shit like that. I mean, when you get them on technology and shit like that at a young age, there's all kinds of stuff about how fucking kids are just like unable to have normal relationships and shit like that. And it's all because there's just so much porn out there.
Yeah, it's not good.
Who would have known Ted Bundy had it right, huh?
Did he not watch it?
I feel like that was his way of just trying to fucking ruin everybody's good time, was to say that he started killing women because of porn. But I do believe that porn combined with a bad mind.
Yeah.
Definitely I know examples of it that have happened to people.
Well, because you can find so much there's no limits as to what you can find on a porn site. Truly. A lot
of women have like teenagers and stuff like that have been expressing, and probably this is where you'll get canceled, desires to be gay and stuff like that at teenage years, and then later on in life they'll go back to straight. Not bisexual, straight, but the reason is because they were exposed to porn and the aggressiveness that they see, and they don't want to be put through. Like, that looks uncomfortable. Like, fuck, how many girls look like they're having a really good time in porn?
In straight
porn. A lot of them are looking like they're getting fucking
that's why a lot of
uncomfortable.
Well, that's why a lot of straight women watch lesbian porn, even though they're straight. And like for me, it's like I've been thinking about this a lot lately, because I just feel like
oh, I got it.
How do I say? Yeah, how do I say this without? Yeah, you can.
I just want to clear up that point. Is that
context? It's all about context.
Yeah, again, it's a Scott MacLean
episode. Nothing will be posted out of context.
But they are essentially afraid of men because of what they've
how
witnessed
rough the
through
rough
porn.
sex.
Exactly.
Yes,
And most
yes.
of what you're seeing,
which I totally understand.
rough gonzo porn. So they go, okay, I'm a lesbian, or I'm asexual, or I don't go into
Or I'm
relationships
bi.
like that, or I'm bisexual because they don't want to get involved. Now, that's not everybody.
No.
Calm the fuck down.
No.
Freak out. Try to cancel Intoxicated.
Yeah,
There's
please don't.
exceptions to every rule. And yeah, that's
Totally exceptions to every rule. And like, I'm just happen to be somebody who like, on the Kenzie scale or whatever, I only have a small percentage of me that would ever be down to like do lesbian stuff.
What's the Kenzie scale?
Oh, it's like a scale of sexuality that
Okay.
like gives you, it's like a bunch of questions, and it'll give you like a percentage of like how straight you are.
Oh, okay.
Kenzie scale? Is that what it's called?
Kinsey.
Kinsey. Also called the heterosexual homosexual rating scale, is used in research to describe a person's sexual orientation based on one's experience or response at a given time. So like, for example, like I had a fivesome where I touched a vagina, and the situation was very sexy and everyone was turned on, and it was a room full of hot naked people. So yeah, it was a little hot, but like it didn't make me go,
Ooh.
oh, I want to go touch more vaginas.
Yeah.
It was more just like, okay, that was fun, but
It was a courtesy.
but also I was just like, I'm just very
You
curious.
didn't jerk your hand away.
I mean,
Ah.
I'm also just very
bit me.
curious. I've just never touched one other than mine,
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
needed to feel that.
And
But,
how to compare?
It was okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it was, but like I said, it was just okay. It didn't. I'm very straight. I'm just very, very straight, and a lot of people aren't. Like, there's a lot of people who are, all kinds of different things.
Yeah, sure.
But that's not me. That's not me.
Listen, calm down.
That's not me, Scott.
Calm down, Trump. Jesus.
What you wearing on your head tonight?
I'm wearing a buff.
What's going on? Is this
It keeps-
Survivor? What's
no,
happening?
It keeps me from sweating. I always sweat.
Fair
right?
enough.
So, and
You
especially
get
in
sweaty.
here, I was going to take my pants off. I have shorts.
I know, it's very
Um,
hot in here. I do
and
apologize.
You can see my armpits, like how dark they are. They started off. You can see at the start. I think it was at the start, I was lifting just to show, but they're already going out of
You
control.
know what? Years from now, when I have a new apartment that has heat that I can control, it's going to be so much better.
I can tell you this: living. I mean, you've got your own place, right?
It's-
To a degree. You're probably not as loud as me. You don't get as complaints from the neighbors.
I don't get complaints, but I'm in a very good part of this building because I'm on the corner,
And
and
you have
really
nobody
the only
underneath
place
you.
I share would be on this side, which is
Yeah.
my bedroom, which like I'm only in when I'm sleeping. So
Yeah. I love. We moved into a house in August and start of August, and it is the greatest. The other night, I was a little
drunk,
swampy, we'll say.
swampy. What does that mean?
The old crotch got a little hot, and I had a lot of moisture in the armpit of my balls, and it's very uncomfortable. I was just sweating a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, it's because we were doing the kitchen party, and I was sitting like this for so long, and now when I sit up straight for that long, my stomach rests over. My stomach is flapped over onto my lap, and now I get like when I stand up from here. Well, one, I sweat through these.
This is what it's
thick-ass
like having boobs.
roots.
By the way,
Yeah. Well,
like
I know.
what
Look
he's
at this.
describing.
Look at this.
Picture two of those up here. That's what boob sweat is.
I got boob sweat. I'm not a stranger. This is not a shadow. That's real. This is the shadow. Look at that. That's all boob sweat. And I get boob sweat. I sweat through these thick Roots brand sweatpants onto the leather chair, and my whole waistband. I was soaked. So I just took my pants off and my boxers, and we were lying there on the couch watching Narcos, and I was just splayed right out, and I was like, now this is why I'm happy to have my own place. Because nobody can just walk in.
You can do that in an apartment too, though.
Yeah, you can do that in an apartment.
He just wants to brag that he has a house.
No,
That's what's
I
happening
have
right
been
now.
living in my parents' basement for 7 years. So
Actually, you're totally allowed to brag. Brag away.
God, our house is really nice. It's
It looks
really great.
amazing.
It's not huge. It is pretty fucking big, but it's beautiful. It's super cozy.
an
Lauren
out of
has it so
context.
cozy. Oh my God, it's cozy. Every room's cozy. Except for my office.
I'm so sad that I'll never own a house.
You'll own one.
I truly don't think so.
What's the podcast going? Don't put that negativity out into the universe.
This is what I want to ask you. Because I've been getting into so much hippie woo-woo stuff that I'm sure you have opinions on.
All kinds.
But
It's all bullshit.
what are your thoughts
Okay.
on the idea and just the core concept? We don't have to get into the specific crazy things that women do to manifest, but like manifestation. So like picturing and putting it out there that like you already have the life that you want.
So
What are your thoughts on that? Because I truly think that I manifested this new job that I have.
Lauren's big into this shit too. I know.
I love
and
this.
Look, I'm okay. Obviously, if you spend all your time focusing and working towards a goal, the chances of you attaining that goal are significantly higher. So the problem is when you go to the level of The Secret and you're like, just by thinking it's going to fucking happen. And that's where I don't like it when it gets to a religious thing. Yes.
Where it's just about thought.
Discipline and dedication and I feel like people think that they can just go, yeah, you know what? I'm going to have this. I'm going to find me a man and it's going to happen. It's like, no, it's not. You're going to steer yourself into the fucking rocks.
I feel attacked.
I know, but you're going to steer yourself into the rocks because you're focusing on that end goal and you're going, oh, I'm going to mush him into this fucking mold that I have instead of it just happening organically. And instead of it just becoming. Because
but you literally hear of women. I've heard stories of women who've literally like written down and put thought into their ideal partner and like written down the traits that they want in a partner and have had that happen.
Because they started to become more aware of traits that they found desirable. Now, the problem, the potential problem with that is that can put you into a perfection, like you're getting this idealistic thing and you'll accept no less. And you do have to accept that not everybody's perfect. You have to accept that some people are going to see things differently and that's never going to fucking change. There has to, and I feel like that's why, okay, you got, back when you had a farm, when you were fucking, we're all farmers, you were going to grow up and you were going to take over the farm. Or you were going to go work at the fucking shoe repair shop. Or you were going to be a carpenter. Or you were going to be this. But there was like 10 fucking things you were going to do. And so you were happy. Because you chose one and you do it and you were respected in your small community for doing the thing.
Because there was nothing more you could do.
But now we have a million fucking options.
Oh my God, do we
now we have a million options for occupation. So me, it's fucking, this is big true for me because I am a big hippie who wants to go live in a combine in the woods by myself. And I'm also fucking attention whore who wants everybody to.
But that's why the internet's awesome.
And be in the center of attention. But then I also want to be a musician and I want to be a artist of some kind, or I want to be a presenter, a host, or whatever of all these different things. And it's very difficult when you have all these desires and these interests to choose one to stick to one.
Do you have to just stick to one?
You don't have to.
Or could you do like I do and put buckets in all different places?
Well, you put and again, like now you have the podcast job and that's going well and that's great and that's good. Like that's I'm extremely happy for you that you found something that you genuinely love, because I haven't found something that I genuinely love that I can monetize,
can do for work
enough,
can do for
me to happy. I still have to have another job now.
Yeah,
before we go way too off point, Tinder, Bumble, all these fucking things. You always get these options. You get so many different options. And then you go, oh, well, I like that guy was able to, had a great, funny personality. But I like that guy because he was more attractive. I like that guy because he was a little more patient. I like that guy because he was a little... And then you're going, I love all these different fucking qualities. I'm not accepting anything less than someone that has all of this.
Well, I mean, okay.
This is what happens. And people...
For some.
For a lot. It happens later in life, the more people you've dated especially. that you'll get to a point where you're just wanting this person to manifest all the good qualities of everyone else, and then that can harbor resentment.
Oh, absolutely. But that's why I learned about this thing called the Frozen 5, which is like you should have 5 must-haves, but no more. 5 qualities or like things about somebody.
What are yours?
What are mine? That's a good question. I had it written down because I did a workshop like last year where we had to do it. I think humor is very important. I think
probably the most important. You have to be able to make each other laugh. Can't remember who it was saying. Someone said something that once you stop laughing, then the relationship's done.
Yeah.
You can't make each other
absolutely
laugh
and
anymore,
this is why I stand by it. I will always stand by it. It's okay for comics to date each other.
Sure.
I think it would be the funnest relationship ever. I think there's so many pros to it. I think there would never be a dull moment. I just had on the podcast that I work on. I had a comedy couple.
Here we go. Idealistic. There'll never be a dull moment. There's going to be a time where he does some bullshit that you get pissed off, and you got to go, like, there's things like that Lauren watches trash TV. I fucking hate trash TV. So much judgment. No, she'll admit it. She loves trash TV. Can you pass me that bottle of wine? But Lauren loves trash TV. I don't. I'm not always going to be like, why are you watching trash TV? Stop watching trash TV. I want to watch this. Watch the thing that I want. And then you're going to be fucking miserable if you can't accept that some people just like things that are different than you, and you focus on the positive things.
Yeah, and I think that's one of my things. So like this, one of my things would be, how can I say this? They let me totally be...
Accept you for who you are.
Yes.
Accept you for your flaws. Don't, and this is the problem I have with Lauren, is don't just let your flaws go unmentioned. Tell me when I could be doing better, because otherwise that can turn into resentment.
Oh, well, yeah, 100%.
Like, Lauren and I started dating, and I was like pretty good shape. If I keep going, I don't know, if I got to 100 to 300 pounds, you'd still love me. You'd think I was sexy as hell and everything, and you'd probably be right. I'd be a pretty hot 300, but that's bad for me. I need some pressure for that. But I understand. I'm not going to get that. That's on me. That's just me trying to make an excuse to not work out and put it onto her. So I forgive you, hon.
That's funny. Oh my God. The resentment thing is interesting though, because I did that with a friend recently. There was a moment. I don't think either of these people will listen. But essentially, I have a crush on somebody. I then invited a friend out with said person. That friend, I could see her eyes light up when she saw this guy. She asked for his like social media from me afterwards, and I said, "Here it is. Like he's on social media. You can add him. But just a heads up, like I have a huge crush on him, and even though I know nothing might happen, I would prefer you don't go for it."
That's fine.
Because I don't want you to go for it and then I don't want to be secretly resentful of you. Mm-hmm. And it was like kind of this weird selfish
female privilege
decision.
By the way.
Not selfish.
Well, a little bit, because I don't think anything's going to happen with this guy.
Female privilege, by the way.
Is it? Like, what do you mean?
Because if I am saying, hey, because that's because you don't want to get friend zoned. But guys aren't allowed to be complaining about the friend zone.
It's girl code.
It's fucking legit just person to person code. Is like, hey, I have feelings for this person. Can you not step in my way? But and that's totally fine for girls to say. Guy says that. It's like, what do you think you own her? Do you think this is the patriarchy? The patriarchy. He thinks he owns a woman. What do you want?
Like, wait, if you said that about a female friend or a guy friend?
No, if a guy were to say that and some person overheard, they'd say, well, just because you like her doesn't mean you're entitled to her. And it's like, I didn't say that.
That's fair. I actually can't get
this
that.
fucking horse shit about how the friend zone doesn't exist. The friend zone exists, and guys are allowed to be upset about it. Okay? They fucking were hoping for something.
But then stop being a friend.
What?
Stop being a friend. Okay. If guys are pissed with the friend zone, stop being a friend. You don't owe her friendship if she's not giving you what you want romantically.
Sure.
Stop being a friend. Stop complaining about it.
I mean, like, if you get friend zoned,
if you get friend zoned by a girl you like and you're pissed, don't help her move. Don't.
Yes. Okay.
Don't.
Yeah, we're fully on board there. And I think
move on.
A lot of the people that do get friend zoned are fucking losers. I've been friend zoned.
Literally sitting right beside you.
But they're losers in the eye. They're losers for. I mean, they lost. If their goal was to be,
you know why I think I know what you're getting at. I think if you're surprised that you've been friend zoned, you probably lack some self-awareness a little bit. Mm-hmm. Because I think that you
tried way too hard on you were dishonest. You were fucking dishonest.
How? What do you mean?
Because you were playing the nice guy. Oh, yeah, I'll sit and I'll listen to your feelings when really I want to have my dick in your mouth. And it's like, no, you know what you should have fucking did? You should have said, I want to put my dick in your mouth. And then maybe you wouldn't be in this fucking predicament that you are 3 months down the road after you what? Listened to her drone on about some guy she wanted to fuck, and you were like, yeah, maybe I'll be a snake and try to tell her that she deserves better and that she should
rather than
instead of saying, you know what? I think I should have a shot.
Yeah, and that goes for women too.
Yeah. Women there's all kinds of shit women need to fucking hear straight up, unedited, but we don't have to get into all that.
Oh no, I want to hear. This is what I was going to show you. So when we were talking about the 5 things, so this is the Frozen 5. So this is a list of how many 26 traits that someone told a woman, write down everything you want in a guy, and she wrote 26 things. She wrote this whole list.
Okay,
and what
you call them out, and I'll call what's bullshit.
And what this exercise is saying you need to pick 5 of these things that are like your most important things.
Okay.
Do you want to hear my 5?
Mm-hmm.
No, this was granted a while ago that I did this, but I think it hopefully still stays true. Number 1 is trustworthy.
Yeah.
Number 2 is emotionally stable.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't want a baby.
If you don't choose.
I don't want a human male baby.
You don't want a human male baby?
I don't want a human baby.
You want a human baby? Don't you think it would
I should clarify.
Don't you think it'd be good to have a human male baby so you can put a better man out in the world? You'd fuck it up.
No, do you not know my joke about the gender reveal party? Yeah. If I found out it was a boy, I would just throw myself downstairs.
Yeah, I'd do it if it was a girl. No, I wouldn't. I'd love her.
Number 3 has similar values to me. Number 4 is intelligent.
Okay.
Intelligence is important.
For these first 4, aren't they? Like, how do you if you don't choose the first 4 on this list, you deserve to be unhappy.
Yeah. So what you're saying is I picked a good 4.
No, shit. You've picked all 4 of these.
These are my top, and then my 5th one.
You're telling me what you chose.
I'm telling you what I chose. So those are my top 4, and then my 5th one was compatible with family and friends, but it was a close tie with has similar interests. I'm actually really drawn to people who are into the same things as me. I know I get the whole opposites attract thing. Mm-hmm. I totally understand that, and I do think I could really use a guy that's a little calmer than me. That would be nice. But I like to geek out with somebody over the same things.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah,
those are my 5.
Those are. No, okay. I want to hear the other ones.
Do you want to hear all the other ones?
What intelligent? What is one of them? Dumb? I hope my partner's dumb.
So this is it. Shuffle the list around until okay. So here are all the traits. So agreeable, easy to get along with.
Oh no, not on my priority list.
Emotionally stable, which was one of mine. Mm-hmm. Securely attached, meaning like, do you know what attachment styles? Do you know all about this? I did a podcast with J.E. Matchmaking, the Book of Love. Check it out. Where I talked all about attachment styles, which is essentially it's like how you were raised and how that affects like how you attach to people, and like a lot of times that comes out in like how you fight with your partner. So how do you react? How do you react when there's anxious, preoccupied, dismissive, avoidant, fearful, avoidant, and secure?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay.
So
okay.
I'm a mix of anxious and
Are you?
fearful.
I never got anxious from you.
Fuck you. Okay, keep going. High novelty seeking, so that means likes to do new things.
Okay.
Supportive / happy for my good news, which is a stupid one. Well, actually, that is very nice.
First of all,
that is
go
very
back to
nice.
the novelty seeking.
Yeah, likes to do new things. Some people, my friend Geneva, that's on her top 5.
That is a recipe for disaster.
If you, because they're like, I like to try new things, like this hot new waitress that I just saw.
Well, no, I want somebody who likes to try new things. Oh, he wants to go to the same restaurant. I'm just, why isn't he a little more creative?
Some people
fucking
like
become
that.
narcissist. I'm that one. I'd like to do new things all the time, but there's also some shit that I like to go
It shouldn't be a top
camping and
5.
hiking
Yeah.
to new places, and I like to do. I'm an open book. I'll do new fucking anything, but I'm not always going to be out seeking a new thing to do. And even if I am, 5 years from now, we're going to have done all the shit.
And to some people, that's not a requirement for them.
Well,
Like
it shouldn't be.
for you to also want
I'm
to
just
do
saying
new
that
things.
one's a recipe for disaster. You should take that off the list. Your
This
friend.
isn't my list. Oh yeah, well this is what she picked. Happy, supportive for my good news. I think supportive, because I think about it sometimes, and I see a lot of my friends in relationships, and you guys are a good example of this actually. I see a lot of my friends in relationships, and I see these people who are they say that they're happy, and they probably are, but I see like a lot of boyfriends or husbands or girlfriends like not supporting, like not coming out to shows that they're on, or like not, I don't know, just like you never see them, even though like this person does stand up. And I'm not a fan of that. Like I
find that
to
weird.
see people's significant others at shows.
Yeah.
I think that's so, like, I think I would really like a cheerleader. Like someone who can let me do my thing, but like be there to support. I think that's a very good quality.
They're not going to go to every fucking show, but to come out to like the big ones and the good ones, or you're excited about some new jokes you're going to say, they're not fucking doing anything.
Yeah.
I mean, you also got to read, like
I mean, and sometimes comics don't want their significant others to come to shows, and in that case, I totally get it. But like, if I look at someone like Adrian Gabriel, she's a new guy in her life, and he comes out and he laughs so hard at her, and he just enjoys it. He stays for the whole show, and it's just like, that's so sweet. Like
Lauren used to do that with me.
But Lauren, you come to shows when he's
No,
on.
she comes to all
I've
the
seen you
shows.
at a bunch of
basically.
shows, of course. And like, if she did something similar, you would go see her. Like,
My
think
thing is to
that
try to
so
get her to go
important.
out and do things that she wants to do. I don't want her to. Lauren is very accommodating, and I want her to do her shit. My biggest challenge in our relationship is getting Lauren to fucking tell me what she actually wants to do.
Oh, do you have some codependency going on?
Not codependency. It's not codependency. She
Well, that
will.
kind of is an aspect of codependency.
Is it?
Which is you're uncomfortable when other people are uncomfortable. So you want to do things. It's people pleasing,
It is.
It's people pleasing.
and so you would rather
It's not a bad trait.
make him happy, or like do what he wants to do.
Yeah.
Even though you don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And you feel like if you tell him what you want to do, that he won't enjoy it, and then that'll stress you out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's no one knows more about codependency than me.
But then it stresses me out because I know because she's a shit liar, and I can't tell when.
But that's the thing. But that's why it's good to understand.
Yeah.
But we're working on some assertiveness training.
Is that what you call it?
Assertiveness
That
training.
doesn't really sound like what
I've pushed you to be more assertive.
Yeah, I think too. I would.
Oh, Mike, hold it.
Oh.
This is a good point.
No, I think it's deep rooted. I
Yes.
think it's gone back to childhood.
Lauren, why haven't you just come on alone?
I know. I would love to talk with you.
Would you come on?
100%. We'll make it happen.
Everybody loves Lauren.
It's deep rooted in your child.
Yeah.
But that's what it is. It
Yep.
totally is.
Very much so. And I ended up doing like a couple therapy sessions a while back, and just always thought that like it's just who I am. I just like it when everyone's happy, but like deeper. it's like a burden thing. I don't want to be a burden on people.
Oh my God, Lauren.
Yeah. And apparently, like looking back, it's always been something, I think, since I was quite young that I've always felt. Can I? Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. It sounds like, yeah.
Which is something we both possess, I think. Like, I am a little more like, no, fucking my way. I'm a little more selfish. I'm definitely more selfish. But I'm very conscious of, like, I want to make sure Lauren's happy.
Well, a lot of comedians, I think, have some codependency in them. Because think about it. Think about what you're doing as a comedian. Like, you're placing all of your value on, does this crowd of strangers, do they think I'm funny? Do they think I have value?
Yeah, you want to get
And so you're like, here, I'm going to dance for you. I'm going to, it's very, and like, you'll notice a lot of comics are very people-pleasy-ish.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It can really put you into a fucking a rut of your career.
Oh, does it ever? More things on this list.
Yes.
So physically attractive.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I mean, physical attractiveness is going to get you to recognize all these other traits. Like,
yes, it's the door. It's the door to the person.
I think so much has been taken away from the importance of physical attractiveness. Like, it's like people are trying to make one's personal attractiveness or the things that they're attracted to is like isn't inclusive, or it's offensive to have a type, to have things that you like. And it's like,
No.
The only reason you go over to find out if the person has the other values on the list is if you're physically attracted to them. And anybody who says otherwise, I think
Oh
they're
no,
fucking
that's
lying.
totally true. But also too, I think within that, physical attraction is different for everybody. Like,
sure, but
a lot of times
a boring 10 will drop to a 7. But a fucking really interesting, cool, funny, compatible 6 can be a 10.
Yeah.
Because of but if you don't find 4s and lower attractive, you're not going to find out whether or not that they're.
That's right. Unfortunately, that is the
and even
the
if
case.
a 4 and lower possesses the other 5 that you have and want, you're going to be
This
like,
is
I'm
what
out.
I will say, though. It's very dependent on how you meet and how you interact, because, you know, you hear stories all the time of people who meet online or meet on the phone, and they develop this whole relationship and they get to know each other. And then the physical stuff doesn't matter so much because they've gotten to know this person in this way where it's not like this right in front of you.
I feel like the majority of those cases, those people don't have many options.
Oh, no.
Sorry. But
Did you watch Love is Blind?
Yes.
oh my God. That's some trash TV I watched. My God. You want to hear me
Same
just
idea, though,
yell
right?
at a TV?
You talk behind a wall, and then you think you're in love, and then you're together in the physical world, and you're like, oh, this doesn't work at all.
You realize that bitch Chris is a cunt. Whatever her fucking name was, that blonde.
I liked her a lot. I thought she was honest.
No, we're not talking about the same one.
The blonde, the one that was considered old on the show.
Was she considered old?
I think-
He tried real hard.
Are you talking about the
She was
the
jealous.
blonde?
She wanted the top. She was the gold digger who wanted the hottest guy there.
I loved her. I loved her. I loved her so much. Trainwreck, yes, of course, and she definitely has issues. But I loved her because she was honest.
No, she wasn't.
She was honest on the show.
She was a hooah. She was a superficial hooah.
Fun fact, though.
She would have dumped that guy as soon as he grew a fucking gray hair.
What are the
If he would have had a belt size, gone up a belt size, she would have been out of there. She was superficial. She sucked. She wasn't honest. She was lame. I mean, her boyfriend that she chose was a bit of a loser. I won't lie about that. But she was, I don't know. She was fake as fuck at the start of it, pretending to be happy. Ugh. God.
Fun fact, though. So the guy that she was going for, and I forget all their names. I literally
I just
forget.
think it was like a Colton or some shit. Or Cole.
I think her name was her name Jessica?
Yes.
Her name was Jessica.
Yeah.
Then there was, fucking Christ, why can't I find their names?
Colton?
I think Damien was, no, that's a different guy. Why can't I just look up cast? It doesn't give me their names.
Oh, really?
It's very frustrating.
Well, I don't want to sit here and fucking Google shit.
Well, the guy that she was going for and like the girl he picked, they're still together.
No way.
They're still together. I saw a TikTok. They posted a TikTok.
Good for them.
Together.
Yeah, hey.
Listen, love is blind. Love is crazy. Let's quickly go through this because I want to talk about
Lauren's with me, and she could do a lot better.
Stop. That's
And
not true.
physically, attractiveness, you could be pulling in Johnny Depp. You could be pulling in Brad Pitt and Snatch.
The rest of this list. Okay, so physically attractive, takes responsibility for self.
Okay.
I think that goes in with emotionally stable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unlikely to withdraw. That was high up there. I ranked that as 10 on my list.
But
that's because I have an anxious attachment style, and if you withdraw from me, I'll just spiral. I need you. If you withdraw, you gotta tell me.
Yeah, I feel like some of these are redundancies.
Has similar interests. Has similar values. Speaks my love language.
Okay, shut up. Move on.
I love this one. This one is funny to me. Good life skills, and then in brackets, cooking, cleaning, budgeting, and building.
Yeah, but I've seen that sometimes when you get attached to some of these things, you're setting yourself up. Not most of the stuff on this list. Most of the stuff on this list is just like, yeah, no shit.
Yeah, right?
But some of the stuff on this is like, if you're choosing these, get ready for some sadness.
It's just interesting to see how people rank them. Like, it's an interesting, because like, okay, so good life skills I put as 21. Like, I put low on the list, which is funny.
Because like 90% of what's on that list is more important. And if he doesn't possess the 5 that you chose,
yeah,
but he possesses good life skills,
boring.
then you're probably a gold digging whore. Like, you're probably going, oh, look at the value and the money that he can bring in. I can probably get a piece of that. Or look at all the shit I won't have to do because he'll be able to do it for me. Or you're just like, you're putting these idealistic fucking ideas of what a person should be.
Exactly.
Oh, he's
once children is on here, which is very important to some people. Some people might put that in their top 5. For me, it was number 26 because I don't necessarily want kids.
Fair enough.
9, sexually compatible. So I ranked that as 9. It's in my top 10. It's important.
It's important.
It's very important. It's more important than people think.
I believe it's very important. I believe that 9's probably a good position for it.
Hell yeah.
And this is coming from
no pun intended.
From a hey-oh. Where's the pun?
Pun intended.
Because 9?
Positions.
Oh, a sex position? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Get with it, Scott.
I'm on a bottle of wine now. I feel like if you're lacking the top 5 that you have,
what you're saying is I picked a good top 5.
You picked a great top 5. You haven't
heard the rest.
I feel like most people who didn't pick that top 5 are fucking idiots.
So here's the rest. Financially well off. Charming / humorous.
Of course.
Which is interesting because on here I had it ranked as 25, but earlier when you asked me, I said humor was
right up there.
So I think humor is actually more important than
probably because they started off with charming. And charming has this like...
I don't like the word charming. Yeah. I would rather it just say sense of humor.
I'm incredibly charming to parents and old people and like grandparents. I'm charming as fuck. But to people who are my age, they don't like me.
And then there's trustworthy, faithful, strong leadership skills.
Okay.
Follows directions / allows others to take the lead. Little sub bitch.
Okay, let's yeah, a simp.
Look how low I put it.
Where is this?
Follows directions.
High ambitious. Okay. Independent thinker. Sure. Compatible friends and family. Obviously. Excellent conflict resolution skills.
That's
like it's important, but doesn't that come hand in hand with emotional stability?
Has a good relationship with others.
Imagine.
Not a dick.
You're in a relationship with. Why would you want them to have a good relationship
And speaks, I don't know what an apology love. Oh, yeah. I think that's in here too. Apology language.
I honestly, that's such a
maybe not.
stupid word. I don't want to know what it means. I already know that it's horse shit.
I think it's like similar to love language, where it's like, how do you apologize to someone? Like,
let's choose the worst traits you could have.
Choose the worst. Oh, I listed mine. These are my bottom.
No. I want to talk about like let's form the worst person, like the person with the worst priorities. Okay.
Okay.
So, financially well off.
Why is that? Okay, out of curiosity, why is that a bad thing?
Because you're a superficial piece of shit.
Why is it a bad thing to want money? I legit want to, because I really do want a lot of money.
We're keeping this in the context of these 25 choices. If that one's in your top 5.
Oh, no, it shouldn't be in your top 5. But for I guess I mean for yourself.
No, but we're talking about your partner.
Your partner, okay.
You want your partner to be financially well off?
I mean, yeah.
What happens when he loses it all?
Yeah. Well, I don't like how
break up with him?
I don't like how that's phrased, because I don't want it to imply that like I would. Obviously, I want someone who gets by. At the very
you don't
least.
want a fucking loser, but if your will, I mean, you know who was wanted someone that was financially well off? Fucking that chick that hooked up with the owner of the Pistons or whoever it was, that racist old guy, Donaldson or whatever his name was.
I have no idea what you're talking
about. He's owned a basketball team. He was an old racist guy. But hey, this 23-year-old, she loved an 85-year-old. And why did she love him? Because he owned a fucking basketball team. Fuck her. So I'm going to put, I'm not putting these in order because I'm just looking down the list.
That's a bad one.
Financially well off, if that's your priority over
all these
other things on it. And I'm financially well off. Just put that there. I'm not fucking, this isn't like jealousy talking. I'm doing okay.
He is. Scott offered me money once. A large sum.
I've offered some people money and they haven't given me any back. But I don't care because whatever.
You did it and they didn't give it back?
Yeah.
Scott.
Whatever. They need a little more than me.
Invoice them.
They need a little more than me. I don't want to fucking be that guy. So, financially well off, a high novelty, has someone just speaks my love language because you're an idiot if you choose whatever that means. Sorry, it's your number 7. Good life skills. I might be retracting on that now just because I do understand like it's showing competence. You want to have someone who's competent. Again, you just don't want a loser.
I feel like that is the lowest bar. Like good life skills, like yeah, no shit, we're adults. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you gotta know how to do laundry. You gotta, not be a dumbass with money. But like, I feel like that should be implied.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like that's what I mean. Like
as the baseline, like
highly ambitious is hand in hand. Like
it shouldn't be your can't live without.
Yeah, that's what I mean. These are these shouldn't be your can't live without.
Exactly.
Financially well off, highly ambitious.
Like highly ambitious would be on the would be nice list. There's another list that's would be nice.
Yeah. And then the high novelty and what else do we have here? What was another one and speaks my apology language because you're a dick if you say that. Because if you've ever said
just take the apology,
like him, but he doesn't speak my apology language, you deserve to be alone.
I also think love languages are kind of bullshit too.
Yeah, I don't even know what that means. It's stupid.
Acts of service, words of affirmation, gifts. What are the other
gifts?
Ones?
Who the fuck are you?
Can you imagine saying
gifts.
My love language is gifts?
I give gifts. Oh,
here it is.
I make tea.
You do, but that's acts of service.
Yeah. Acts of service. Look, I think I prioritize
there's 2, right?
The things
that
like I go consider like I've always said, keep a bitch cozy.
That's your thing.
Bitches love being cozy, and I keep my bitch cozy. Right?
Jesus Christ.
She's one cozy bitch. I bought her a fucking nest chair.
I know you do. And you want to know what?
bring her tea.
It's
I put
very
little-
triggering for me. I won't lie when because I love it. But it's also just like it spurred a joke. Like you guys actually inspired a joke of mine, which is and not in a bad way at all, which is like, I don't know what it feels like to have a guy wrap a blanket on me. I actually don't know that feeling of like, I want you to be warm.
I feel like
I don't know what that's like.
Most people would need a fucking forklift to lift their jaw off the floor if they saw how I am in private and how sweet I am. Mm-hmm. Right, hon?
We're going to get into that in a
Hon?
second here.
Yes, for real.
I'm a good dad.
You are a great dad.
I'm a sweetheart. I do prioritize your comfort a lot of the time. Mm-hmm. I try to be supportive and whenever she has a problem, I try to.
Oh, you're
to be someone for her
supportive.
to vent.
But just in general, not even just with her. Like you're like that in general with everybody.
To a lot of your friends.
Yeah.
All of your friends.
But everyone thinks I'm this fucking asshole.
That's why we're gonna get into that in a second. But I wanted to complete the love languages: words of affirmation, gifts, acts of service, quality time, and physical touch. So my top two are quality time and words of affirmation, for sure.
Yeah.
I could not care less about the other things.
Uh,
Well, actually, acts of service would be very nice. But I think it's like I've been so independent for so long that like I would never expect that. Mm-hmm. But like I would like to be told that.
Yeah, but if you're sitting in a nest chair and he brings you a tea,
stop it,
and chocolate chips with almonds,
I don't know,
or walnuts, and makes it so that when you get home, your little slippers are perfectly beside the chair, and your laptop's opened and ready for Netflix.
Oh my god!
And the scented candles are lit, and yeah,
make a bitch cozy.
Make a bitch cozy.
There should be a hashtag. You should inspire boyfriends everywhere to do this.
But that's the thing. I'm a bit misogynist.
A bitch cozy.
Yeah.
I'm a misogynist. Is the problem.
Okay, so as a transition into that, are you guys still good for time? Like, just cut me off whenever you have to leave.
Oh, yeah,
I'm fine.
Okay.
I've got like a crisp wine at least.
Okay, so we gotta go back to the very beginning because it's a very good place to start. Sound of music.
Yep, I was in it. I was Kurt.
That's so cute.
I leave and leave a sigh and say goodbye.
You
goodbye.
Goodbye. Can you do the? Oh man. I just realized I'm sitting beside someone who can
Do,
sing.
re, mi, so.
Can you teach me how to not be tone deaf?
It's tone deaf, first of all.
Deaf.
And I can't, but my buddy Josh can.
Interesting.
He actually has taught someone how to be not tone deaf. And it was very interesting the way he did it. He's such a crazy talented musician. Like that guy picked up guitar within like 6 months. He was playing
Oh my gosh.
Guns N' Roses, Sweet Home, fucking what is it? Sweet Child of Mine.
Sweet Child of Mine.
And all the solos, all the fills. Crazy Train by Ozzy Osbourne. He was just like, he was sweeping at 6 months in. I've been playing since I was 5 years old. I can barely keep time.
Yeah.
And he's an animal, and he's teaching vocal lessons and piano lessons.
I'd love to learn to sing.
Yeah.
But Lauren, like, you're a really good singer.
She's an incredible singer, and she just doesn't have any confidence.
Have you just been learning on the fly?
No, did you
have any training at all?
No training. She's got a natural talent. She's got a beautiful voice.
But I
she doesn't
actually
have the
think
confidence to push it
in
as hard
rooting
as she
yourself in because you're with him and he's always doing it.
Yeah.
Probably is very, very helpful.
I push her.
It's kind of like you're self-teaching a bit.
Yeah. Well, my family is super musical.
You got it in you then.
Yeah. No, my dad's in a band. And he's amazing. He plays a ton of instruments. He's got a wicked voice. Everyone thinks that whenever Blue Rodeo's like playing on the radio, it's my dad singing.
He sounds like Cuddy.
Yeah,
he sounds
wicked.
like Cuddy and Don Henley.
Don Henley.
He kills Don Henley.
He's got a wicked voice.
Has he done Kitchen Party yet?
No, and I said you should.
He's a short, funny guy with a gut. Hey, Freud. Are you looking at this shit?
Jesus.
Oh, God.
That's so interesting.
It's very interesting.
But yeah. So.
Okay. So you've been telling me for a while that you want to start a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And you say, I want to do it. I just haven't done it yet. But you did start one.
Mm-hmm.
So number one, we got to tell everybody about your podcast. I'll plug it in the intro too. Don't worry.
Yes.
But In the Wrong with Scott MacLean.
In the Wrong with Scott MacLean.
Oh, I think when you were bouncing around titles, Maybe I'm Wrong.
Maybe I'm Wrong was going to be it. I also, do you know what a Kafka trap is?
Yeah, you told me about that.
A Kafka trap. I'm going to explain it for the view. It's the best title if it was a serious podcast and it wasn't me. Mm-hmm. Like, it's a good podcast for like a true, like, just like someone that would put on a business card intellectual. But my buddy told me it, because a Kafka trap is when you deny being X, that is evidence of you being X, because someone who is X would deny being X.
Hang on.
So you deny being racist, that is evidence of you being racist, because a racist would deny being racist. So that's a Kafka trap. Mm-hmm. And so my buddy told me he wanted it to be called Denials from the Kafka Trap.
Oh my God.
Because that's me in a fucking nutshell. It's the perfect term for me, because it's literally, I'm always getting thrown these ridiculous accusations about my character, and then I deny them, and then someone says, oh yeah, you would say that because you're this, and then I'm like, and then you can't get out of a Kafka trap. There's no way out. And yeah, so, but it's in the wrong, because every time I speak about something publicly, at least on a Facebook forum, on a social media kind of thing, I'm in the wrong. I'm wrong. It's you say, hey, I think this way, and then they say, you think this way? Well, then you're fucking anti that way, you piece of shit. And then you're like, oh, okay, I'm all right now. Like, I'm wrong. I'm just a bad person, I guess, because we didn't see things the same, and that means I hate you. And so I just accepted that every time I like to talk about fucking ideas.
You like to discuss things.
I'm a philosophy student, not formally, but like, that's what I like to pontificate about the universe.
Holy
about
shit,
what,
pontificate, that's a word. I like that word a lot.
I like to look at why things are the way they are, why people are, like nature versus nurture.
I do love figuring out why people are the way they are. It's fascinating.
And it's really cool. And I like to, when I see somebody who has a bad idea, I like to try to empathize with that person. It's easy to empathize with the downtrodden. It's easy to empathize with the victim. It's very difficult to empathize with the attacker or the oppressor. But when you do, that's where the value is. Everybody's trying to fucking peacock their virtue signaling how fucking righteous they are by saying, hey, look, I empathize with the fucking starving kids in the world. It's like, no shit. Everybody does. But what about that fucking kid who is what about the guy at the top of the chain in the blood diamond industry? Empathize with him. Figure out how the fuck he got there. And then you can actually maybe do some good fucking work in the world and turn things around. Because you can go, I figured out what conditions of his life brought him there. And it's not that he's a piece of shit. It's that he was raised in an environment like... You're
looking at someone critically versus emotionally.
When did Hitler go from an innocent fucking toddler baby
kid
to
baby
of an alcoholic father who beat the shit out of him, and a crazy mother who had lost 2 kids and pampered him and was a clean freak and would wash him and say, don't touch those things, don't touch those people, because they'll give you a disease and you'll get sick and you'll die like your 2 brothers. And then the father beats the shit because he's never good enough, and then he gets like he didn't come out fucking goose stepping. He didn't come out with Cyclone B or whatever it is and ready to gas the Jews. A bunch of shit went on in his life that put him in that fucking position.
And that's not saying it's an excuse, by the way.
No, not at all.
Let's clarify that.
But when did he go from innocent victim to poor circumstances to somebody who should have known better?
Right.
And like there's a book by Sam Harris called Waking Up. and it's like a spiritual guide to. Sorry, it's an atheistic or a non-religious guide to spirituality.
Is it meditation? Isn't that because he has the Waking Up app? That's a meditative app.
Yes, but the Waking Up podcast or the Waking Up book was basically a case study in consciousness, and he's essentially talks about how the value of meditation and the basically how free will is an illusion, because how could it not be? Like, everything in the world is, you can find everything that we're made up, everything that we are interacting with, you can find it on the periodic table. Every time you put fucking baking soda and vinegar together, it foams. Unless you change the environment. You freeze the vinegar, it's not going to foam because it's in a different environment. It's reacting differently. Scale that up to everything that we're fucking composed of. Scale that up to all the experiences that we've had. Most people didn't choose, like, nobody's born racist. You're born kind of racist. Just because of who you're exposed to as a child, you recognize facial. That's why to white people, all Asians look the same, and to Asians, all white people look the same. Is because you're used to seeing
it's your environment.
In those people.
Yeah.
So there is like some tribalism that's inherent, that's going to happen. It's almost completely unavoidable it's almost completely unavoidable, we'll say. But true, like white supremacist racism, that is taught. And what a fucking poor child. How can you not feel bad for the kid? Everybody feels bad for the kid of the God Hates Fags people. The Westboro Baptist Church. You see those 4 years old out there protesting. This was back in like 19.
Because they don't know better.
Because it's just this little 4-year-old who doesn't know shit, and he's holding it. And
it was the people around
God
him
Hates America sign.
Yeah.
And you're going, that poor kid doesn't even know. When do we lose that? When do we stop caring about that fucking kid? When do we decide, you know what? Like, because when we see that 4-year-old kid, all we can think of is, let's get him in a different environment with people that can treat him better so that he comes out as a good kid. Somewhere, we abandon that. Probably in the teens. Then all of a sudden we assume that, oh, fuck your conditions. Fuck the shitty circumstances that you were in. Fuck your alcoholic father. That beat the shit out of your mom and you. And you know, like, is it a coincidence that most child molesters were molested as kids?
Right.
They're just acting that out. So that's why our prison system really doesn't fucking work, because it's based on free will. It's based on punishing the person for the deed instead of changing the environment that person is in so that they can learn to know better. Because Biggie Smalls, if you don't know, now you know. But you got to teach them, now you know. And no one's going to just automatically go, you know what, you're right. And people nowadays, if you don't agree with me right now, well, then fuck you, you piece of shit. You Trump supporter, or you fucking snowflake liberal. Get the fuck out of here. Block, delete. I don't listen to people who say this shit. And I know some people just don't have the fucking time or the patience, but you're weak. You're a weak person, and you're weak in your convictions, because if you truly care about the greater good, you're going to take that fucking time to try to make a better argument so that the person is convinced to change their mind and agree with you, instead of just abandoned the fucking the person, abandon the hopeless victim of circumstance. They are a victim of everyone's a victim. Everyone's a victim of the circumstance. The people who aren't victims are victims of their circumstance, right? Everybody is. You don't choose. Who chose to be born? Nobody. You are a product of your fucking... The reason why you look like your parents, because your fucking genes. There's how much shit is hereditary. You know? Eating disorders and shit like that, and weight gain and stuff. A lot of that shit's hereditary. There is like a 50-50, apparently a 50-50, like nature versus nurture type of thing. Not exactly 50-50. Listen to God's side. He's a evolutionary biologist, I think.
I mean, I believe it because, I recently found out from my mom that not only was she definitely diagnosed depressed throughout my whole younger years, but she was diagnosed with ADHD later in life, like very recently, actually, like within the last 15 years, and she's in her 70s. And I go, thanks for not telling me that. That makes a lot of sense as to who I am.
Yeah.
Because I'm convinced, and I will be on the road to figuring this out. But like, I'm pretty convinced that the reason I get depressed is because I'm an undiagnosed ADHD.
Yeah. I wonder if I have a lot of that in me too. Just because, you know, I definitely fucking have ADHD like a motherfucker. I'm a squirrel brain for crazy.
But I feel like so many people think they have it. So many people.
I think that it's becoming more prevalent because of the instant gratification world that we live in.
Yeah.
But again, you didn't choose it. You inherited it. And okay, let's take away ADHD and let's say cerebral fucking palsy. And now this person's shaking and knocking fucking glasses off the table. Mm-hmm. Smashing things, and you're giving this person shit and saying, hey man, you should do better. You should know better than to do that.
Well,
you're not giving
that's a physical thing.
It's a physical fucking thing.
They can't help that physical
But who
thing.
can, if you're a kid and I teach you that the fucking the ceiling fan is God, you're gonna believe it. That's why everybody who was raised Muslim is a Muslim for at least until they get to. If they get outside of that world, I was Roman Catholic. Mm-hmm. I think that's one of the reasons why I do try to have empathy for the person who's wrong, is because I've been wrong so many times in my life. I once debated my science teacher saying gays were wrong because God made Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. I was that guy. Mm-hmm. I was that guy. Fuck that guy now. Mm-hmm. Like, if I hear someone say that, I'll roll my eyes at how stupid they are, but I'm going to engage that person in a conversation and try to convince them because they're wrong. And what am I going to do? Leave them? Let them go out? Have kids? Have their stupid ideology and pass that on and then infect the world with all these bad ideas? Or am I going to go, you know what? I think homophobia is bad, so I'm going to fucking debate this person instead of just cut them out of my fucking life because they're wrong and they don't agree with me. I think that's so fucking lazy, weak of character. It's just pathetic. The way people, the cancel culture horse shit, the blocking. I feel like you're someone that blocks. Like, I've blocked people. I've blocked people that I've tried with for a long time, or who I just know I'm never going to get anywhere with. But that's like 3 people.
Yeah,
and a lot of people disagree with me. Yeah. A lot of people hate me. I don't block people. There's all kinds of people who I completely disagree with. People that I get disgusted with. I just think they're just shit people. I still have them on my Facebook, and I still have. I'll still be respectful to them in person, because I just don't think it's right to give up on people. I think if you really do believe that there's a greater goal that can be reached, then you should try to do everything you can. That's why when people say you need to listen, it's like, well, no, you need to make a better fucking argument and convince me. If I'm not getting it, that's on you. It's not me. You gotta make me click. Like, I always bring up Daryl Davis. He's this black guy, converted like 200 members of the KKK to leave the KKK, a black guy. The guy who people told him, the Grand fucking Dragon, I can't remember what the guy's name was, Tony something. Anyways, he was going into, the people warned him, don't go talk to this guy, don't go to his house, he will kill you. That's how racist this guy is. That guy's no longer in the fucking KKK because he befriended him and he had conversations with him over a number of years. And then he found common ground. And then he eventually they found so much common ground that this guy went, fuck. All that shit that I was raised to believe, I don't believe anymore. Now, if he didn't convert that guy, and that guy would have had those kids, he would have infected their minds, he would have infected the community, and that shit exponentially spreads. And you're gonna block him and pat yourself on the fucking back that you're just basically saying you're having a closed borders foreign policy for the rest of the world and the bad ideas that are around you, that you're just going to, it bothers the shit out of me. And I value debate and I value conversation. Right?
I think that this is a very interesting thing to talk about currently.
Yeah.
For me personally, because things have gone on. And there is what's the actual definition of a reckoning? Is that like
a reckoning?
Sometimes I don't know what
or
words.
Are you talking about a revelation?
I'm just gonna look up the meaning of.
Is this
reckoning.
where you came to realize something?
Reckoning meaning is an action or process of calculating okay, maybe it's not a reckoning. It's you talking about how people are passive and they stay out of things and and when I say passive, I am talking about the people who do just block and do nothing, say nothing, don't engage, just go, I'm done with you, bye. It's hard sometimes because I think with a lot of people, they are grappling with, is this worth my emotional labor?
And again, I block people because some people, it's not worth it because I find most of the people that I block, it's that because if I'm like, I believe Facebook's the worst place that you can have a productive conversation.
That's the other thing I was going to say.
But I also believe that a productive conversation can happen on Facebook, and I've had many of them. But then there's a couple people, Justin Late from Toronto, go fuck yourself, you're a loser.
Name drop.
No, that guy, he sucks, and he knows he sucks, and he hates me anyway, I don't care. We actually used to be friends, but then he went woke, and now he just thinks he's the fucking shit. He's a cunt. He every time I comment on anything, he just goes and it's just him trying to like take the conversation off to the side and be like, this guy's a piece of shit, he's a rapist, and he it's like he throws everything out.
Well, the thing is, when things get emotional, logic is gone.
No, he's doing it to get laid.
Oh.
Like, it's just that I was talking.
It's a weird way to do it.
No. It's very Bill Burr's latest special about male feminists, about how it's just that it's born out of that 14-year-old kid. How do I get laid? Maybe I agree with everything she says, and then she'll fuck me. That's the and I'm not talking about feminist as a liberal, a classic feminist, a person who believes in equal rights. Hey, women should be allowed to fucking do whatever the fuck they want to try to do, and
get abortions, get paid the same as men.
They already do. We don't have to get into that, but they already do. But I do know in situations in my own personal life where there are women that I am very close with who I do believe are experiencing something that would be considered gender-based pay discrimination. But I believe that that's rare. And the statistics already show that up until the age of 30, women have a wage advantage over men. And it's not a coincidence that it's the age of 30 when women decide that they want to start having families. Mm-hmm. And that's okay. It's okay to prioritize other things other than fucking fiscal success and financial gain. It's more fucking admirable to hold your family in higher value than superficial horseshit like a Beamer or fucking a nice house, right? Like, oh wow, like that's, to me, that's an admirable thing, is that a woman would say, you know what, fuck all of that, I want to raise a family. And
I think she should still get paid the same.
No, the only reason that she's not, the wage gap statistic, do you know where that came from? We're gonna get into it. Two questions. What's your gender? How much do you get paid? Hours worked, not factored in. Type of work, not factored in. Mm-hmm. So you have every male fucking worker out on the oil rigs working 80 hours a week, getting paid double time and a half, and then you have every fucking female receptionist or girl working at fucking in healthcare where people, not women, most are women, are underpaid, in my opinion. Teachers, shit like that. They don't go for the jobs that men that are stuck. Mm-hmm. They're not bricklayers. They're not fucking. Mm-hmm. They're not working on the oil rigs. And so, no shit, the guy that's working 80 hours a week and working in extremely dangerous jobs and brutal conditions, who is going to get paid more because you have to pay someone more to work that job. What's your what's your wage, and what's between your legs? Right. Oh, so we factor all that together, and then we learned, guess what? There's an 80% difference. Well, no shit. Right. Because you're not factoring it on.
You're not factoring in the right.
It's a univariate study. You have to have multivariables.
All receptionists.
And when you account for all these things, again, you get a wage advantage for women before the age of 30, and that's actually changing now because women tend to go after higher education more than men do. And a lot of the fucking, like, women don't need... Guys need to have a fucking Lamborghini. Guys need to have a nice car. Guys need to have a nice shit to get the women that they want to get. You know? They have... A lot of guys, a lot of women prioritize power, financial success. Some of the shit that we read on this list earlier. Mm-hmm. So guys want to be the biggest king shit because, you know, the strongest gorilla gets the fucking harem, right? He gets the biggest selection, the best selections, the guy at the top, right? He can point and say you, and then they'll come right. Look over fucking Dan Bilzerian, right? Mm-hmm. Guy's a total douche, but he's got a bunch of money and he's a strong guy and has a fucking yacht. You think the women that are around him are like, you know what? I think he has a great personality. No, fuck that shit. They're going after him because he has all the power. Women don't need that. Mm-hmm. You can be like Patrice O'Neill had a great bit about how you go and ask a girl, you know, you love your man, you respect your man, you do anything for your man, yeah. How about, you know, you see Brad Pitt, he's the most sexy person in the world. Would you risk it all for Brad Pitt? She'll think about it. She'll honestly think about it. She'll say, no, I wouldn't do it. You ask a man, you love your girl, same thing. You love your girl. You do anything for her. Yeah. You see that girl behind the garbage can? She passed out in the dumpster there. Yeah. Would you? You're like, she kind of looks cute with all that garbage on her.
That's so sad.
Right? Like,
that makes me so sad.
But women don't need that type of status to pull high status men. Men who... A hot chick that works at Subway, if she's hot enough, can fucking pull in a CEO of... She can get Jeff Bezos. Mm. If she's hot enough and nice enough and all that shit, she doesn't need fucking status. She doesn't need a fancy car. She doesn't need any of that nice shit. If she's hot enough, she can work at Subway and be nice. And Jeff Bezos will be like, yeah, fucking, we're going. But Jeff Bezos, that fucking weird turtle head look fuck, he needs to have Amazon. Because if he's working at Lowe's in the stock room, nobody's fucking Jeff Bezos. Old weird looking dude. Fuck him. Donald Trump. Do you think Donald Trump gets Melania?
If he's not rich?
If he's not Donald Trump, he's got to be Donald Trump to get Melania. And what's Melania do? Hot. She's hot.
Is she?
She was. She's good for her age, I guess. I mean, if you're into that whole plastic surgery thing, I don't want to each their own. But again, you know, like, he didn't choose Melania because Melania was an ambitious woman who ran a company. But if you see a guy who's fucking ambitious and he's doing all this shit, damn, that's kind of attractive because women are attracted to power on average. Like 98%, I'm sure. Way up there. So,
which is worse though? Like, is it worse to be...
What I'm saying is there's different priorities between men and women.
Yeah.
And women are more compassionate. I mean, you go and there's a fucking study that was done where you basically, it's been determined that guys are more, James Damore got in shit with this, with the Google memo that he did, saying maybe the reason why there's not so many women in the, in Silicon Valley is not because it's a male-dominated environment that are unaccepting to women, but just because a lot of women don't have that interest in compared to the amount of guys that have that interest. And that's not socially constructed. That's because when you give a kid, like, kids are attracted to things. Babies. You go up, they did studies, and male babies were more attracted to things, toys, stuff, and female babies were more attracted to faces.
Right.
More attracted to people. Is it a fucking shock that the healthcare industry is dominated by the teachers, that psychologists, that all of those, to me, the heroes of the fucking world, right? My girlfriend, my fucking, and the almost all women that she works with, heavily female industry. Is that a coincidence? You think that's socially constructed? Because they did those studies in fucking all the Scandinavian countries, and as they broke down the barriers of social pressures on gender roles, you'd think that, well, more women would become, go into the STEM field, science, technology, and math, etc., and more men would start to go into the healthcare. Actually, what happened? The spread got wider. Once the social pressures were reduced to almost nothing, the women gravitated towards more stereotypically female jobs, and the men went towards stereotypically male jobs because our brains are fucking different.
I mean, there's no argument against that. Like
there's all kinds against it. They're just fucking wrong.
They're just wrong. Like it's truly biology.
Sure. It's
truly like a neurological thing.
And it's also nature versus nurture type of thing there too.
Big time.
My sister could fucking outperform a number of men in terms of assertiveness, aggression, and stuff like that, because my sister was raised with 3 guys. And she had to compete against 3 so my sister turned out to be a tomboy who was a badass soccer player, and she was on the fucking Team Canada bobsled team. Like, she was a little she's 5'3", she's 160 pounds of fucking muscle. She was a little gorilla. Might have had to do with the fact that she was around a bunch of guys when she was growing up who were fucking roughhousing and playing sports and kicking balls at her face, and she had to kick the ball back at them so they wouldn't do it to her, right? You're influenced by your environment.
Big time.
But she's also a girly girl too. She's also, again, nature versus nurture. So, ultimately all these conversations are difficult to have. And it's because as soon as you say something, then the person goes,
Scott's against male nurses.
Exactly.
Scott's against female oil workers.
Yeah. It's like, no, man, you want to fucking do it, go for it. But I just believe in best person for the job. Equal opportunity all the way. Absolutely, you want equal opportunity, because equal opportunity means you're going to widen the pool from which you're going to select the best person for the job. So if you're, like, what was it? That female, Mary, she fucking had something to do with radiation. God damn it. Her name escapes me. Anyways, some female scientist, she fucking was like, she had come up with some kind of, some ability to determine what planets had what type of gases and whatnot on them.
Okay.
I can't remember what her goddamn name was, but she had something. She was a really prominent astrophysicist, and she back then, when it truly was like women should be subservient and they shouldn't be in the fucking, like, women had to do a lot of shit. But as we've opened those doors for women to be able to have free choice to do those things, like, that's better for everybody, because then you don't just get the Albert Einsteins, you get the Allison Einsteins that are out there, and that's great. But to say that, we got the firemen and we need to have 50% men and 50% women, when all of those women could be replaced by stronger men, because they're going to be out there, because it's a highly desired job. That's stupid, because it's no longer best person for the job. That's equity versus equality of outcome. Equality of opportunity versus equality of outcome. And equality of outcome is equity. And equity's bad, because equity says not you, not what you can do, not your skills, not your merit, not your capabilities, not your competence, but just what your physical identity is. That's what we're going to determine this shit on. That's a bad idea. You should be saying best person for the job. And sometimes women are going to be better for that job. Oftentimes, more women are going to be better for that job. South Park did a great episode on it. Where fucking the women were wanting to play the board games, and the guys didn't want the girls to be in the board games, and they were like, well, you got to let the girls play the board games because equality. And then the girls came in, and the girls started kicking all the guys' asses because the girls read the rules and they were a lot smarter than all the boys. And so they were fucking kicking ass in the game. Meanwhile, the strong woman competition had fucking Randy Savage, muscle man Randy Savage, who said he started identifying as a woman a week earlier and then just started beating the shit out of all the women in the strong women competition. It was a great episode. You got to watch it.
Oh, okay. Yes.
The PC babies even accepted him at the end of it, which is the whole moral of the episode was maybe even PC babies can understand when there's a little bit more nuance to an issue.
Right.
So, I don't know.
PC babies.
So, but the problem is, why am I misunderstood? Because nobody,
bringing it back to that.
Because as soon as you get into the start of this conversation, the person goes, I know what he's about, block.
But I think so much of this is the medium. And this is why I encourage you to start a podcast and have guests on and have a conversation together about things that you want to talk about.
That's why I had to.
And
I was called an alt-right, transphobic, homophobic, racist, misogynist. It's like, anybody who knows anything about me knows that there isn't a shred of truth to that. Nothing at all. I'm a realist, and I speak what I believe to be true. Sometimes I'm fucking wrong, but I don't change my mind because of you say I'm wrong.
Here's the thing. I'm going to try to speak for probably a large chunk of people when I say, I'm going to try to formulate my words correctly when I say this, because I think because as somebody who's sat back and has watched you interact online, and you've always been a friend. You've never not been a friend to me. And I know that there was a time when you wanted people to come out publicly and kind of defend you or come to your side, so to speak. And I understand
everybody that wouldn't.
Right. And that's an interesting discussion to have, right? The idea of publicly defending somebody or not. And if you don't do that, how do you show support?
Support in private is better than no support at all.
I would say, yeah, absolutely.
I completely understand why people would choose the route of self-preservation. When I make my controversial opinions, which are only controversial because some people have such stupid fucking ideas and they're dumb and children, and they say all of a sudden, oh, I see it differently. That means you hate me or you hate the person you're talking about. I understand why people wouldn't want to get involved. But I also think that's a short-term gain for a long-term loss.
What's their long-term loss by not getting involved?
Watch the documentary about Brett Weinstein at Evergreen Campus. And what happened there, and you'll find that. Basically, quote from the movie Boondock Saints, different. What is it? Something about good and evil. The indifference of good men to fail to act in the face of bad. So
right, which is definitely a thing.
You'll avoid. What was his name? It was Stanislavski. I can't remember what his fucking name was. He was a German pastor in 1940s or 1930s Germany, and he has a quote that says, first they came for the trade unionists, but I was not a trade unionist, so I didn't say anything. Then they came for the socialists, but I was not a socialist, so I didn't say anything. Then they came for the Jews, and I was not a Jew, so I did not say anything. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me.
Right.
That's the fucking problem. And you talk about cancel culture, and I know we all go, we roll our fucking eyes. But trust me, that shit is so dangerous because again, it seems so insignificant because all these people that are talking about equity and talking about their fucking horseshit identity politics, they're waving this flag, this banner of compassion. Well, I doubt their sincerity. I doubt that they're doing it for compassion. I believe a lot of the time it's self-serving, it's peacocking, it's virtue signaling, and it's saying, it's not, hey, let's stand up for the downtrodden for the sake of the downtrodden. It's let's stand up for the downtrodden so everybody can see how good of a fucking person I am.
Yeah.
It's public fucking masturbation is what it is. Look how fucking righteous I am. Everybody, aren't I great? Look what I said. I said I'm not even going to listen to that person. I blocked that person. I just blocked 10 people today. Look how fucking great I am. Look how fucking lazy and pathetic you are that you're going to let those 10 people that you blocked go out in the world and spread their ignorant shit. And maybe you won't convince that person. Maybe someone's watching in the wings and they're seeing, maybe they agree with that person. And then you go out and you start challenge them on a Facebook status and there's shit going back and forth. And you're bringing up ideas that this person in the side wings never considered before. And then they go, wait, that guy's right. I never thought of it that way. And that conversation, you may not go somewhere with that person that you went with, but somebody overhearing it may have heard it and thought, fuck, shit. You know what? That guy is wrong. I used to agree with that guy. Maybe the argument wasn't good enough for them, but maybe it's good enough for the person reading on in the sidelines. And I get, every time I post one of these opinions again, I get like fucking 10, 15 people messaging me. I totally agree with you, but I'm not going to fucking like or stand up for you because I don't want to get I don't want them coming after me and losing my job. And that's legit. I understand that completely. But just know, eventually, once I get silenced, ain't nobody speaking up when they come for you. And they're gonna come for you. They're fucking gonna. They always do. When you don't, evil prevails when good men fail to act. Bad ideas prevail when people with good ideas fail to express them.
Here's my question. Why start the fight in the first place? So, and by this I mean, I think with you, a lot of people's thing with you is, why? Okay, so you post an article about something you found interesting. Because again, like you said, you like to talk about these types of subjects. You post an article, the comments start, the defenses start, our online argument starts. Why continue it on an article that you post? What's the why? Because I think that's where people judge you. They think Scott is arguing because he likes to argue.
So let's look at this microphone. This microphone
has a lot of cat hair on it.
We'll say this mic was built in 2020. Is this mic better than a mic that was built in 1950?
Yes.
Okay, why?
Because it has updated technology.
And how did that updated technology get there?
Through testing?
Through a conversation about better ideas. Every fucking thing we have in this world that of modern technology, modern comfort, every good idea is a conversation between good idea and bad idea. And then you wore out the conversations and then the good ideas, as long as we're accepting the ideas and we're judging the idea for what it is, not the fucking person who's saying it, which is an argument from authority, which is a logical fallacy. As long as we're valuing the idea and what that idea is based on, then things will get better. That's how we went from fucking rafts to goddamn yachts. Because someone said, hey, I got a better idea. And they said, that's not a better idea. And you said, yeah, it is a better idea. Why is it a better idea? Because X, Y, and fucking Z. And then people went, oh, wow. Like, it's to not have the conversation is like the fucking foundation of scientific ignorance. Because everybody goes, it's like one of the arguments, and they do a good parody of it on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, is that, is like when somebody thought that the Earth was the center of the universe and used science to prove that the Earth was the center of the universe. And then Galileo came along and he pointed out that, the sun was the center of the solar system or whatever, and would prove the other guy as a bitch. So science changes, so science is unreliable. Right? Ideas change. So it's like, we're adapting to the better idea. So when I have my little fucking debates and my defenses and all this shit, I am genuinely trying to have a conversation.
Right.
And then I'm genuinely trying to defend myself against all these fucking ridiculous
But that's where social media kicks in, because this is what I truly feel, and it's the root of so many issues between people. Arguing on Facebook, no one's going to reach common ground at all. It's the worst place to have a conversation.
But I won't say no. And again, there's people that are watching in the wings.
Right. And that's what it is there.
And those people might have heard, like, okay, back in 2015, Justin Trudeau chooses his cabinet. And he chose 50% men, 50% women. And they said, why'd you choose a cabinet with 50% men and 50% women? And he said, because it's 2015. And in that moment, I remember thinking, man, that's fucking awesome. Look at this guy going for equality. I think that's great. And I held on to that belief until I heard somebody else say, like, 25% of elected officials are women. So it's statistically almost impossible for, if you're choosing the people to run the country, you want to have the best people to do so. If only 25% of the pool that you can take people from are women, it's highly unlikely that 50% representation is going to occur. If 75% of the pool you're pulling from, which are highly competitive people, highly intelligent individuals who should be the best at doing this job, he chose his cabinet based on their fucking genitals, not on what they brought.
But who's to say that, though? Who's to say that he didn't?
Because again, statistical probability says that if 25% representation of women in that cabinet would be more likely, because that's 25. Now, it might go above 25% by a few, but I mean, anybody who knows anything about statistics or probabilities is that it's going to be a higher probability that more men, if there's more men to choose from,
right,
then it's more likely that it's not going to be a 50-50 split. And you take, and like,
I keep thinking about this in terms of comedy.
Well,
and
think about it in terms of fucking firemen. Okay? Think about it in terms of jobs that require physical strength. Are there women out there who are stronger than men? Yes, yeah. Sure. There's a lot of weak guys out there. But if you're going for the best of the best, the strongest of the strongest, it's men. Mm-hmm. It's all men. Mm-hmm. There's no women.
And again, remember, if you're a female ever arguing this, just think about how often we are literally scared for our lives around men, because they could literally kill us. You could kill me right now.
Serena Williams is the best fucking female tennis player in the world. Best by far. No one even fucking compares. Mm-hmm. She ranks like 300 on the list of best tennis players.
Yeah, that's crazy.
She's under like college level male tennis players because on average men are better at that shit, because it's it's the reason. Take almost all sports. The only sport I would say the exception is fucking, well, maybe hockey, but I'd say mostly women's soccer. Women's soccer's way better than men's soccer, just because men's are a bunch of pussies. Like a bunch of whiny bitches diving and crying with their faux hawks. Women are out there in soccer trying to prove who's a badass, and they're fucking throwing bows, and they're fucking slide tackling, and they're going for blood.
Right.
Guys out there are they're like, yeah, you messed up my hair, I'm gonna dive, and they're fucking pussies. So, but on average, with firemen, no one's debating that. Mm-hmm. If Justin Trudeau would have been like, you know what, I'm gonna choose who's the best fireman for this department, you know what? Fuck all those jacked, crazy guys who are like super like CrossFit motherfuckers who like, I know some women who are fucking like heavy lifters, train every goddamn day to lift and to bench press and to fucking do squats. I on my worst day, like that, their peak is I haven't worked out for fucking 6 months. That's my start. Same height, obviously different weight, just because men have different densities and muscles and bones and shit like that. But I mean, men are just naturally stronger than women.
Right.
So you wouldn't have that debate, that question about firemen, especially considering mostly men are going for that fireman position. So if mostly men are going for political positions, let's say 75% of men in Canada at least are going for these high status political positions, and then you're going to go and choose from that pool who's going to be the best people to run this country. Highly unlikely that 50% of those people are going to end up being women. Maybe, but that's not why Justin Trudeau fucking chose it. He chose it because that was a big thing. It's a hot ticket item. We got to have equity. 50%
I do
representation.
think, and I mean, we won't get too far into this because we do have to wrap soon, but like, I do think that there is a lot of value in making an effort to show representation because it's a fact that, you know, if a little girl wanted to be a firefighter and she goes to visit a fire station and she just saw dudes, she might then go, I can't do that. So I'm not even gonna. I want to fight fires. I want to do it, but I can't because I don't see someone who looks like me, who is me, you know, a woman, like there. So I'm not gonna pursue my dream. So I, you know, like that's kind of.
But that's
how I see it.
okay. Sorry, weak of character. Fucking, if you're not going to do it because you don't see other people like you doing it,
I just think
shut the fuck up.
Well, it's not that extreme, but I do think that there is value in making an effort.
I believe there's a value in equal opportunity.
Absolutely.
I do not
equal
want
opportunity.
anybody other than my dentist as my dentist.
That's right.
And she's a female.
Right.
And she's fucking knows what she's doing. She goes to my mouth, she comes into the room, it takes her like 30 seconds and she knows her shit. I don't want another fucking dentist. But I don't want her as my firefighter because she applied for it and they needed to fill the female quota.
Oh, yeah.
Now there's but that's because firefighter is a strength. I want someone that can pick my fat ass up out of the burning building. She's not going to do it. But fucking, you know, but I don't know, some jack guy is going to. My buddy Brandon's fucking huge. I'd trust him to do it, but I wouldn't trust her.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think anyone...
I don't think she shouldn't be allowed to try, but if there's other people out there, if there's a stronger woman than her who's more physically capable and has the other qualities that are she's going to lose out to the other woman because that woman is better for the job. So let's use true equality and say, fuck what's between your legs. Let's decide on who should be doing these jobs based on what they're capable of doing. Now, certain issues do require other perspectives. I don't think a bunch of white people should be it should only be white people on the board of Indigenous affairs, right? Because these people aren't in these communities. They don't know what's going on. So, you know, yes, we do need to have people, but it's a different value that's required for that problem. You know, it's like on one of these issues we needed a hammer, but now we need a screwdriver. And now, you know, maybe this screwdriver's better equipped. Maybe we don't need maybe we should be putting a bunch of hammers to fucking put in a screw. Maybe there's a better tool for the job. So like, you know, when it comes, I don't agree with, like you talk about female anatomy and like having like a representation over one's body. Yeah, there should be women at the table.
Right.
I don't think there should only be women on that table.
And so many women specifically choose female doctors. Like they
sure, and most guys probably want a guy looking at their dick than some hot chick if they're not packing, right? Or if they're insecure.
Yeah.
They're going to want to have, but like again, there's nuance. Imagine that. Like imagine everything isn't just fucking black and white and And
that's what's dying these days.
Yeah, it's disgusting. And that's why I have the conversation. Because the nuance isn't out there. I don't like the dichotomy. I don't like this fucking good evil thing. I don't like this idea that just because you're that thing, that all of a sudden you are the authority on the issue. Mm-hmm. It's possible to be overeducated. It's possible to be spending your entire life in a fucking echo chamber. And if I don't speak and say my things, then I'm just letting everybody else's dumbass opinions echo. And if I'm not allowed to express my opinion, then how am I going to learn of better opinions when someone challenges me? This is the thing. People go, oh, you're just stuck in your fucking ways. It's like, no, you're just too lazy or incapable of coming up with an argument that's good enough to change my fucking mind. Because my mind will change, and most people's will. But they won't change easily, so you actually have to put in the effort, not just go, you're alt-right, racist, block.
That's the thing, though. I think a lot of people, they're choosing their battles, and they aren't choosing the battle that you're choosing.
Because my battle's for truth. My battle's the conversation. Like, I love hearing, like, I love learning. I fucking talk to Lauren about all kinds of shit that I don't know the fucking first thing about. And I'm fascinated. We talk about bone marrow transplants, stem cells, shit like that, tissue donation, all the stuff that goes on. And I'll talk to her for hours going, wow, man, this is fascinating. Like, and then I'll say, oh, is the reason that X happens because of Y? And then she'll say, well, partially, but actually, blah, blah, blah. And then I'll go, oh, interesting. And then sometimes I'll say, isn't this stupid that they do this? And then Lauren will say, well, no, it's not because of this. And then I go, oh. Like there was like a fucking baby of a specific race that needed to have that needed a donor, and they needed to find like a person who was like part fucking like Indonesian and part black, we'll say. And I was like, well, aren't stem cells just like, aren't they just like a foundation that you can build anything off of? Like you can take a stem cell from your fucking leg and then make a kidney out of it as long as it's exposed to kidney cells or whatever. It was my dumbass understanding of how stem cells work. And while that part kind of is true, the race matters. Like if that donor is part Indonesian and part black, then for whatever fucking reason, the blood ends up being better for that person. Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. I learned something new after expressing my stupid analysis of a situation.
That's right.
But it didn't happen by her saying, no, you fucking idiot.
Right.
You don't know shit and you shouldn't be talking about this. It came out of her telling me why I was wrong and explaining it and taking the fucking time. And now all of a sudden, when someone comes to me and asks me a question and they express their stupid idea, I can come to them with this new information. So take that and apply it to fucking everything in the world. Mm-hmm. There's nothing that we shouldn't be talking about. We should be talking about everything, because everything that we have, every good thing in our lives, is the result of a conversation of better ideas. This wine's fucking delicious because they figured it out. They made it it didn't come out all of a sudden this good. They figured it out. They had to educate. They had to weigh this grape versus that grape, harvested at this time versus that time, with this yeast and that yeast and this soil, all kinds of fucking factors. They didn't just say, hey, that wine sucks. You shouldn't be allowed to make wine. Get the fuck out of the conversation. It's like, no, you gotta open that.
And people just don't want to be uncomfortable. It's such a big thing right now. People are literally avoiding being uncomfortable, and it's such a huge thing people have to overcome.
Absolutely.
We gotta be uncomfortable.
You need discomfort to grow. Look at my fucking leg. I can't move it. It hurts like shit to try to get it to bend to 90 degrees. It hurts like shit to try to extend my leg fully. I have to go through that pain in order to become stronger. I will not be able to walk unless I go through all the discomfort that I have to do through my physiotherapy. That's why I think there's a lot of value in exercising, because it really does teach you. I say this as a fat fuck right now, and who hasn't exercised for months before the goddamn surgery. But you got to go. you by exercising, you get an endorphin influx in your brain. It's pumped with endorphins and you feel good. That doesn't happen by sitting on the couch and eating a cheeseburger. That happens by making yourself really fucking uncomfortable. And the more uncomfortable you make yourself, the more you grow. And cancel culture is saying, I'm not growing. I'm not even going to try to grow because this is an uncomfortable conversation. I don't want to have it. So I'm not going to have it. And then you're not going to grow. So fucking have the conversation. Talk to people. Stop telling people that they're fucking ignorant because they see things differently. Maybe you're wrong. Maybe you're ignorant. Maybe you're in the wrong.
Ooh,
Scott
bitch,
MacLean.
what a good wrap-up! Holy shit, Scott! Well, okay, I'm gonna ask you a couple more quick questions. We're gonna
Okay.
keep them quick though.
Okay.
So have you found, I mean, you're only a couple episodes in, but have you found the podcast has helped you at all and given you that outlet so far?
Yes. Yes, insofar as like some of the guests that I've had on, like my conversation with Cliff was really good because Cliff completely disagrees with me. He's one of my best friends, and we disagree on
And look,
everything.
hey, who would have thought? Best friends can disagree.
Yeah, no, like
Who would have thought?
in the darkest moments of our lives, in our lowest points of depression and shit, we were the ones that we called upon. And Cliff started out hating me. He did not like me as a person. He did not like me at all. And I liked him. That's usually how things go. I like most of the people that dislike me in the Halifax comedy scene, in any comedy scene, in any fucking faction of my life. I like most people. I think a lot of it's because I empathize. Like I get why you don't like me. I know I'm douchey looking. I'm loud. I'm opinionated. I get the fucking desire to, man, fuck that guy. I get it. So that's my empathy. I don't deserve to be hated this way. You got me all wrong, but I get it. Mm-hmm. So I don't hate those people that dislike me. A couple of them, maybe, sure, but fuck with those guys. It's like some people are a level of ignorance that they can get fucked. But most people, I find a lot of people don't like me, but I still like them. I still think that they're
That's a good quality to have, though.
I still enjoy.
Yeah.
I find it hilarious. Like I say to Lauren when we go out, I was like, man, like, I wish you could understand how uncomfortable some people are around me because they think I am this thing. Like, taking Lauren places is one of my favorite things because people finding out that Lauren's my girlfriend blows their mind because they just don't think I'm a nice guy, and they're like, why would this sweetest person in the world?
This is why we need a podcast.
Yeah.
I think that's the part 2 of this is me and Lauren.
Sounds good.
What was the question you asked me?
Do you think the podcast has helped you?
The podcast has helped. I want to do, and I might send you the solo episode. I haven't released it because I just think I was too stoned. But I do think it's definitely helping me have the conversation. I want to have people on that disagree with me more. I want to have people on, but I also like having the conversation with people that do agree with me. Like Tyler Morrison.
That was great. I love Tyler. Tyler Morrison's an awesome dude.
But I got to learn, Tyler was lucky that Tyler grew up in a time where offensive comedy was what people wanted.
Right.
What people valued. Like Jason Rouse was the be-all, end-all. And it's like, Jason Rouse is doing a fucking joke about killing a puppy and fucking it back in the 90s or the early 2000s. And people thought he was great. Like, this guy was fucking Canadian comedy superstar guy, getting all the fucking deals and shit, and totally deserved it. And so Tyler Morrison followed in those footsteps, and everybody was at that time. But then things started to change. Some, more alternative comedy came out.
So he has to navigate both worlds now. But
he got notoriety and success, Tyler did, back when, and clout and respect in the community, back when the offensive shit was valued. So now he has tenure. So because I asked, how do you not, the shit doesn't stick to you? And he's like, because he's just got too much respect.
Right.
And a lot of comedians that have that same desire. I find offensive humor funny. All the horrible things that ever happened to me in my life, I find they're a punchline.
Yes.
There's a joke there. And I think I'm self-deprecation, right? Like some of it self-deprecation also, not self-deprecation, your deprecation, the fucking, the crippled that went down the stairs in a wheelchair. Like that's funny. That's some, Schadenfreude or whatever the fuck it's called, or whatever it is when you watch someone get hurt and you take pleasure in someone else's pain. Or sometimes you just say the ignorant thing because you're making fun of the ignorant. Or sometimes you're just saying something fucked up because it's funny to say fucked up things.
Yeah.
And he was able to avoid, like, if you're coming up now and you find those things funny, boy, oh boy, you're going to have a fucking hard time. Because if you tell that joke and it bombs, everyone thinks that you're a fucking piece of shit.
That's right.
You tell that joke the next time, it kicks ass. I was told I've done jokes where I made a bunch of women uncomfortable. It's like, okay, well, go watch me do that show at a Yuck Yucks crowd and not a fucking open mic in a coffee shop where half the people aren't paying attention. Watch me do it at a comedy show where people are there to see comedy, and you'll see women in stitches laughing at that joke that is quote unquote misogynistic because they understand the context of a comedy club and what's funny. And hopefully that might have been the first time I did that fucking joke. And maybe I fucked it up then, but I got to keep trying. And it's a lot of people that want to do like the more edgy, I hate the word, but the more edgy shit, it's only for lack of a better term, are having a hard time because they get canceled before they even have a chance. Nobody understands the fucking comedic process and how, like, you got to eat shit.
Yeah.
You can eat shit with some quirky, goofy joke, and no one says, man, shut the fuck up, you're a piece of shit. And then you can go out and keep doing that quirky, goofy joke until you make that quirky, goofy joke right.
And then you'll be fine.
But you do a joke about why men should be allowed to sexualize women, and it eats dicks at the first because maybe your joke sucked at the start and you needed to work it out. And everyone just goes, you're misogynistic asshole. Nobody wants to hear that shit. Meanwhile, if you had the chance to fucking go out and do it, if people just let you do the thing, then maybe they'd learn that comedy bits evolve and they turn into something.
But that's the whole issue. That's the whole challenge with comedy, right? Because it's
the problem is it's not coming from the audience. It's coming from fucking, a lot of the times from fucking comedians and producers. At times I've done jokes that have crushed to the audience, and people have been like, "Whoa, can't believe you said that." It's like, well,
yeah,
like I did the joke about racial tolerance, and I said something about you got to tolerate races, different things about different races. You got to tolerate white people line dancing, and then I said you got to tolerate Asians bumping into you in the mall, and the audience was like, fucking at Snigs was like, all white people except for 2 Asian girls. The 2 Asian girls were laughing. Yeah. Everybody else was uncomfortable because there was 2 Asian girls there and they didn't know if they were allowed to laugh because they didn't want to be racist. And people are like more cognizant. They don't want to, nobody wants to offend anybody.
It's tough.
And of course you don't, because you might get canceled. Someone might tell you a piece of shit but I don't know. Hopefully that swings in the other direction. Hopefully it doesn't swing too far.
Not an easy thing to navigate at all.
Yeah.
I end on 2 questions.
Okay.
We're gonna do the positive one last because we're gonna end on a high note. So something that you don't like about yourself that you're working on actively.
No, I'm not
physical.
No, I'm not working on that actively.
Not physical.
So you'll probably see this. Most people would have recognized this if they've made it this far in the second half of this conversation, dominating the conversation. I do like to listen. I'm a guest on your podcast.
That's why I asked you on, because I like to give you the chance to.
Yeah. With my podcast, I've been working on listening more.
It's a skill.
I've been working on patience. I've been doing great with patience.
You haven't been doing great?
No, I've been doing great with patience.
So patience
Lauren
in what way?
was accommodating and treating me so well that it was driving me insane when I was first sick, because I was all constantly in pain. And when you're constantly in pain, everything pisses you off. So she'd bring me fucking Tylenol, and she'd be like, "Here, honey, have some Tylenol." And then I'd be lying down on my back, and then she'd be like, "Here's the water." And she'd hold it like directly over my fucking head. And I'm like, I can't drink water like this. But I didn't say that to her. I was like, she's trying to help. Don't scream. But I don't generally get crazy. I'm usually pretty patient. But I don't know, patience with my kids, I'm trying to be more patient with them, just because like sometimes you forget that they're fucking dumb kids, and like you gotta, like they just don't get it. And you're like, stop screaming.
Right.
And instead of like screaming for them to stop screaming,
right,
trying to be a little more
huge.
Diplomatic. So I don't know, there's all kinds of fucking flaws I have that I'm trying to work on. But mostly I would say my biggest flaw, and will come to probably a surprise to most, is confidence. I'm trying to work on being more confident, and not being so self-loathing. I have no self-worth.
Jesus, now you're waiting until the very fucking end of the episode to say this shit to me?
You don't understand. I envy you with this podcast so much. I've said this
What the fuck is this shit?
No, but I've said it. But you're doing it.
You're doing it now too.
I am doing it now, but I hate myself, and I go, "Who the fuck's going to listen to this?"
I say that every week.
I hate self-promoting.
I still don't think people listen.
I don't. We get 300. We get, by the end of a night of our fucking kitchen parties, we'll have 10,000 views. 10,000 people.
See, and here's the thing. And your live streams are instant. Instantly people are watching because you see the views. Yeah. You see them chatting. Yeah. So you know that people like you. But
I still think it's a fluke. I still think...
You have major imposter syndrome.
Oh, all the time. And I'm trying to fight against it. And it's not something where I necessarily... It's a fake it till you make it thing, right? It's not that I believe that I deserve good things. It's that, all right, let's pretend I deserve good things and see what happens. Like, let's pretend I'm putting out a product that people actually want to listen to.
I mean, that's fair. It's fair.
I don't believe when somebody gives me a compliment, I don't believe it's sincere, ever. I don't believe anybody's sincere.
When someone gives me a compliment, especially in starting stand-up, I'm just like, you're just trying to be nice to me.
And a lot of the times that'll be true.
Yeah.
A lot of
I'm pretty convinced that it is.
I won't do that to you. You know I won't.
No, it's easy to pick.
And I think that's another reason why people don't like me.
Well, I think like it's easy to pick up on, especially when it's like, yeah, you're going to get a lot of compliments like on your first 5 sets or something because you're really brand new. You're really brand new and people really want to like inject that confidence. Now where I'm at is like, okay, I'm approaching 30 sets. So like I know exactly the people who enjoy what I'm doing and I know exactly the people who aren't. Because the people who aren't saying shit and they never have. Mm-hmm. So,
well, look.
like, and it's not, and that's fine because my style or whatever, or the things that I write about are not going to be for you.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
And like, as in comedy, so much of our mental illness is dependent upon the validation of others. It's doing it for the people. It's doing it for your audience. Not for everybody.
That's right.
It's sticking. Now, at 30 sets in, you kind of want to do it for everybody a little bit more. Just because you're learning how to be comfortable on stage, how to be funny, what works, what doesn't. And that's the first fucking 5 years of stand-up is trying to be funny, trying to figure out what's funny. Then you try to be funny for what you find funny. And that happens fucking 10 years probably, is you're like, you get to a point where you learn how to be funny and you can do it. And now the thing is how can I be funny with all the fucked up thoughts that are in my head that I know aren't easy to sell? How am I going to make my joke about, you wake up with morning wood?
Yeah.
How am I going to make it funny that one time I woke up because my kid was crying because he had a nightmare. And usually what I do is I put him on my stomach and I rub his back. But now I have a raging heart on and he's crying at the side of my bed. And now I have to pick up my kid, put him on my fully erect cock and rub his back to try to comfort him. How am I going to make that shit funny?
Well, that's already funny.
It's funny. It's funny to you. It's funny to Lauren. They know me. How am I going to make that funny to an audience of strangers? Who, most comedy audience, they don't want to laugh. Mm-hmm. A lot of people aren't there to laugh. They're thinking, he's not going to make me. They're fucking picking you apart as soon as you walk on the stage.
It's cool to see you do comedy because it's a journey with you, I think.
I'm trying to find the things that people are afraid to laugh at and make them laugh there. I want to do jokes about, like, that's the whole reason why I do men get horny like women have their period. It's completely involuntary. It's like, that's a hard thing to sell. Women don't want to buy that fucking idea. Right. How can I take that really difficult concept and one time when I started doing the joke, a fit, attractive male go on stage and say some seemingly misogynistic shit defending the worst qualities of men. How can I make that work? How can, as a white guy, how can I make race conversations funny? How can I make the audience so comfortable they're willing to let me laugh or talk about race and laugh at it? That's fucking hard. In 2020, it's especially hard. I used to do that shit back in fucking 2011. It was easy. It used to be black people come at the end of my set and pat me on the back and say, man, look at all those white people you made uncomfortable. And they thought it was fucking hilarious. But nowadays, everyone's fucking holy shit.
But yeah, there's a reason why I go to you for advice on my jokes, because I'm similar in the sense that I do want to talk about the things that we are talking about.
Yeah.
Like, I have a joke I'm working on, which is essentially the benefits of toxic masculinity.
Yeah, and there are benefits.
I'm putting a spin on it, and I'm saying, ladies, let's take advantage of some of these things.
Yeah, Michelle Wolf did a good bit on her fucking special, whatever it was.
I love Michelle Wolf.
But her latest special that's on Netflix, can't remember what it was fucking called, but
we gotta shut up and we gotta get to the last question.
Last question.
I gotta go to bed because I'm a working girl now.
Poor Lauren.
Okay, last question. Something you love about yourself.
I love...
Don't say Lauren.
No, she's not me. She's in my heart.
Oh, fuck. Jesus Christ.
She's part of my soul. I love my ability to make sad people happy. I love that and all this sounds like, I feel like it's a stroke job. I'm not used to saying nice things about myself, but if I am to try to fucking take myself out of the self-deprecating shit and actually look at good qualities, I am insanely empathetic, not in a stroke job way. I have a lot of compassion for people. I do look for the best in people. I do want the best for people. I do a great job helping people who are at the fucking bottom.
And I would attest to that because you definitely helped me out of a specific situation. When it was before I started stand-up, but it was when I was writing things. Mm-hmm. And I was mega depressed. And you happened to be talking to me on Messenger. And you literally took me out of a very bad breakdown. Like, you actually were like, get the fuck out of bed. Get out of bed and do something. Yeah. Like, and I did.
I've done that for people who now think I'm a horrible transphobe person. I've left my job.
Yeah, you took physical action.
Took them out of their house of depression where they had barred themselves for fucking 3 days.
Yeah.
Forced them to come out, and I made them laugh and made them smile. I made them feel good and tried to get them away from that suicidal place in their lives. And you know what? Some of those people... a lot of the times, none of this shit's appreciated. A lot of the times, it's not respected. A lot of times, I do that for people who don't fucking like me. I'll always try to be there for someone who's down. because I know what it's like to be there and I don't want people to be there. And that's like that is what makes me so sure of myself. Is that's why you can't tell me I'm a bad person. It's because I've been wronged. There's people in my life who have fucking wronged me, like unforgivably wronged me. I've forgiven them. There's people that have done things to me and they deserve no compassion from me. And I still am compassion. Lauren can fucking attest to how kind I've been to people who have almost never reciprocated that kindness.
Right.
And I'm doing it for the greater good. And that's why when someone tells me I'm a bad person, it doesn't stick. It pisses me off because it's like, go fuck
It shouldn't
yourself.
stick.
You don't know shit about me. You don't know what I've been through. You don't know the things I've done to help other people. You don't know me.
Yeah.
If you think I'm a bad person, you don't know me.
I've started
fucked.
embracing that mentality, and kind of going back to what you were saying about arguments and trying to change people's minds. It's like, I mean, in my situation, it's just kind of like, okay, if you truly think that I'm this unsupportive, manipulative person with these bad intentions, okay, cool. You never knew me.
Have a fun time.
You never knew me. You never will know me. You don't understand me.
My only caveat to that is, as long as you have the self-awareness to recognize where you are wrong, where you
absolutely.
are, what your intention is.
Yeah.
As long as you know that that good thing that you're doing isn't out of spite towards someone else. As long as you know that you're not intentionally, like you're taking the high road to show that like maliciously and vindictively. As long as you're doing it righteously, as long as you're doing
That's
it
true.
truly for the purpose, the intended statement, or the intended purpose that you're saying, then yeah. And that's why I really like, I try my hardest to be me. It's real tough sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Very much Goo Goo Dolls. I don't want the world to see me because I don't think that they'll understand.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like very much that fucking line from that stupid ass song is so true that I know in my heart that I'm a good person. There's all kinds of people who would disagree, but I know what I am, and I know that there's people that I have helped who've told me, who've expressed these things, and I'm self-aware enough to know when I'm being a cunt, to know when I'm wrong. I might not figure it out instantly in the moment, but it usually only takes like fucking 30 seconds before I realize I'm being an asshole. And then I go, yeah, but you know what? Maybe because maybe that person, let's give this person the benefit of the doubt, even though they're shitting in my mouth. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Why are they shitting in my mouth? And a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people go, they're shitting in my mouth. Fuck that person. They don't realize that this person's shitting in your mouth because of the circumstances of which they were raised, because of how the tools they were equipped with emotionally or otherwise through their life, right? So yeah.
Oh, boy.
Hey, that was a good one.
Jesus
I'm
Christ.
tired as a motherfucker. Voice all dry.
2:44. I was like, gotta keep it to 2.
I literally said, Lauren, we're going to be here for an hour. So
I always say no Rogan length, and it always goes.
I don't know. Hopefully this is interesting enough for people to watch.
No,
I think we had a good enough
good.
conversation.
I want to thank you for coming on, though.
I want to thank you for having me.
Yeah.
And In the Wrong with Scott MacLean. Check it out on Spotify and Apple and Google.
And this motherfucker needs to make me an ad. He still hasn't yet.
Yeah, I'll do that tomorrow.
Would you make me a fucking ad, please?
After physio, after going to yell at the brick, after going to, what's after the brick? birthday lunch.
Is it your
something
birthday
else
tomorrow?
Embarrassed, like, the service of the propane
Happy
tank.
early birthday!
Happy birthday! I'm officially old.
What better birthday gift than to have you come on and have a therapy session on a mic? Happy birthday! That's my present to you. This microphone, motherfucker. Make sure you subscribe to Scott's podcast because it's quite interesting. I'm quite proud of you for starting it.
Thank you. I still look at it as dumb.
You will
the self-deprecation.
Forever. It'll never not be dumb. It'll never not feel dumb.
Yeah.
That is what I'll tell you right now.
As I said to my therapist, he said, is there any other comedians who you admire or know of that seem to have this low opinion of themselves? And I was like, yeah, man, Bill Burr on his podcast.
They're going to say my name?
Well, no. He said people you admire. No, I said, I said Bill Burr is always talking about how he's a fucking idiot. And he said, well, what's the difference between you and Bill Burr? And I said, I guess the fact that he does it regardless of the fact that he has low value. And I'm like, and that was 2 years ago. And I just started the fucking podcast like 3 weeks ago. So
what's that phrase? It's like if you want to do something, or if you're scared to do something, do it scared. If you're scared to do something.
For me, it's truly embracing the fuck it mentality that I have. I feel like I try to not. I feel like the world is. I don't want people to get it wrong about me. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but I do want to speak the truth. I don't want to hurt people's feelings. As fucking strange as that may sound to some, I don't want to make people uncomfortable, but I do want to speak the truth, and that comes hand in hand. At least my truth, which might be fucking wrong, but I want to get it out there at least so I can find out whether it is wrong or right. Mm-hmm. And this podcast is a way for me to try to get it out there, talk to people, and maybe, I don't know, maybe people will fucking realize at some point that I'm not a huge cunt.
Okay, and with that,
just huge.
With that,
just the gut.
Scott, bring that. Ooh,
we did it.
We did it.
Let's go to bed.
Oh my gosh.